Welcome back for the best of three here for the Deadlock Night Shift number 27, as we have the Titan Abrahams going up against, once again, Leviathan, with their new members being able to topple the low-key W guys in the previous match. I'm joined by Jason Kaplan. I'm joined by ZP. It's a good old time, ZP, to see if Abrahams can fall behind once again and then make a miraculous comeback, just like we saw.
Yeah, I mean, Leviathan, they got their practice in the last game. I mean, really, if you're Abrahams, you're sitting there going like, oh my God, they know how to do it. They came back from 60K down. That's our thing. But, ideally, you don't go into a game expecting to be 60K down. You don't get in that situation to begin with. So we'll see how this one goes.
Wasn't it an old school Abrahams who was up like 60, 70K and they lost to Goo Balls because Goo Balls came back?
Other way around. It was the other way around. It was Goo Balls that threw the 70K. Okay. Yeah, and Abrahams came back. And then they still lost the next two games anyways in the trolley tournament. Fun fact, it was not Abrahams who won that tournament. It was Goo Balls. But then, yeah, they did some roster reworks and Abrahams went back on top after.
They're pretty darn good. They are the full package, are Abrahams, when it comes to Deadlock here in Europe. And they are difficult to get rid of, Jason.
They are very difficult. And they are bouncing on every team out there in EU when it comes to these head-to-head matches. Being undefeated for such a long time. I mean, maybe they drop a map, but typically they drop it in the second map of the series. And we're also a little bit questionable of, are they really trying in some of those games, doing some wacky kind of compositions? But this team, I mean, you can see here, they just don't lose. And honestly, like since number 14, they dropped two maps.
Wild. That is very wild. Of course, to the ex-Buff Enjoyers is one of those as well. So that is a long time ago, as things do stand. But ZP, I mean, as Jason brings up, even those second games that come along, last week was a great example of that, where I thought to myself, okay, they've gone for Apollo and then the Graves in the last two slots of their draft. I thought, okay, maybe they're just having a little bit of fun here and there. And they did fall behind significantly and then come back and win anyway.
The fight part is about the Apollo Graves. They were, because I wasn't even on EU that week, and I was getting ready for the NA portion of the show. And I come back to a DM from Parzival being like, we hope we make the fans happy with this draft. And it's like, what happened? It's like, oh, okay, Apollo Graves. That's what just happened. So, yeah, I can confirm they were messing around a little bit in that game. They decide, hey, we're far enough ahead that we can go into the second game up one. And, we can be a little bit like melee creeps, except not actually lose the second game.
little bit of a side tangent here. As we were talking about like cosplays and being called out again by Mox Knox to not forget about the Page cosplay. I don't know why they think that I have to do it now. But Blank would make a great Graves cosplay.
He not only plays it a lot, he's also submitted builds onto the system as well. So he really likes Graves, and he's obviously always depressed because he's Blank. So it would work on multiple levels.
It depends.
Like, I've already had the DMs with Blank where he's just like, he's telling me what it is. Like, I think Graves, like, could be really good in comp. You just need this, and this. I'm like, Blank, stop trying to make Graves work. Like, what are you doing right now? He's like, no, come on, man. He's so good. It's like, no, stop it.
Blank, he needs to open like a Patreon or something where people can like buy access to his builds, because this man, when it comes to purchasing cosmetics in this game, he's gonna go bankrupt for sure.
I think I might have weaned him off it a little bit, actually.
No way.
I've given him a hard time every he goes into another game, $200 down, $200 down. I'm like, stop, what's happening here? This is crazy.
This is the guy who paid like $60 to play, to like boost a character and play it, and then is like, I don't really like this character, and then did it again, and then said, I don't like this character, and did it again. There goes $180. But speaking of money, Abrahams is looking to take that money here. As maybe we can take a look at the roster as we get close into game here, because this team, as honestly, it's weird. I feel like they were still really strong with ABL. I don't know if they got stronger or weaker with Hoot. I think Hoot does have a bigger prize pool, but everyone talks about Hoot. Everyone talks about Demov, Tass together, Sonya. Man, for me, Saint is probably one of the best players, not the best player on this team. Because he is just so damn good at everything he plays, and he's not limited to just playing support, but the impact he has, I don't think there's another support out there except maybe Saya on melee creeps that has the same level of impact that he does.
You think so, ZP?
Yeah, I think that's fair in terms of talking about supports. And also, the linking factor between the two teams that have the most notable players in supportive roles are also the teams that continue to win. I think there's a lot to be said for having a player that is in that role on your team. And believe it or not, aside from Abraham's melee creeps, it is not as well defined across the other teams in the game, even though other roles seemingly are. Like most teams will have a player that is usually always the Paradox Holiday Bebop player. Like that is effectively a role in the game right now. But for support, teams are a little bit more lackadaisical about it, but not so much Abraham's or melee creeps. So yeah, I think it's a really fair point, and Saint is absolutely some of the glue that keeps things together. Also, not that people may have forgotten, but Saint can also bring out an absolutely deadly Vindicta when she's meta, or even a really good Mo. I mean, there's a lot of versatility behind Saint.
Yeah, definitely. Another key component of what they're doing. Vegas is going to be raiding the Deadlock Night Shift with 1,269 viewers. Hello, nice. My old friend, Mr. Vegas, from previous games. And he's doing so well here in Deadlock, Jason.
Yeah, he is. Just don't put him on a game show, because he doesn't win game shows.
He didn't like that one with you.
He couldn't name that thing that well. And it's you win, you lose. At least he can win when it comes to playing Deadlock, but not winning in game shows. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid, man. Appreciate it. As we'll take a look at their opponents here for Abraham's up against Leviathan. And this newly bolstered team with 3 Moes.
Yeah, well, what's going on here? Why is it just like the Moes keep multiplying? Just like, the chat is about to get all sorts of weird off the Vegas raid. Like, we have like unofficial metrics here, and it just like the Vegas raid comes in and chat is just unhinged for, a good 30 minutes. It's a lovely sort of unhinged, but, chat, we've noticed. Also, Blank dropped me a DM saying, catching strays, what the hell?
He's very used to it. Don't worry. I give it every single day. I'm insulting him just to, just on the Discords, doing what
he's
I can.
Earned it. He's earned
keep
it. He
him
knows
down.
what he did.
Yeah, we've got to keep that power level down a little bit. But of course, as you see here, let's see if Leviathan can be able to make this happen. I do wonder, Jason, though, because if I think about the draft that they just pulled out against Low-Key W, that was, again, almost exactly the same as what Abraham's brought in the first 3 picks going up against Low-Key W in the previous weeks. So, in the previous week, I should say. So that kind of poses the question for me, okay, how much is going to be truly contested in this draft coming up between the two?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit on a good point, is that they're going to have a lot of overlap in what they want to play. But when it comes to flexibility, I think when you have Demov and Hoot on the team, you have so much flexibility that even if like certain key heroes are taken away from you, it's not going to affect you. Whereas I think for Leviathan, if you take away like Mirage from OCs, I don't think he performs well when it comes to like Warden or to guys. He doesn't have that same level of impact. I don't think they would have won that game if he was on one of those 2 heroes and not on Mirage. So I think Leviathan, going into this draft here, they really have to focus on getting specific heroes that they want to play and lock those in early. Because if they don't do that, Abraham's just going to take it away and you're left wondering, well, what the hell are we going to do?
And Low-Key W was very keen on getting rid of the Rem from Saint, as you were talking about Saint just before, Jason. But ZP, if they go down that route, but Abraham's is totally okay with playing the page, playing whatever they want on the other side of Saint, then we'll see if that comes to fruition as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the problem about playing against Abraham's is that it's very difficult to put them in a spot hero pool wise where it's just like, you don't know what to play. I mean, and part of that is because you think about who really makes up the more flexible parts of the Abraham's roster. There's not a whole lot that Demov and Hoot can't actually play. And that does a lot for when you're deciding how are we formulating our team, how are we doing hero pools. And, every team is always going to have a bit of frontliners, involved also, right? So, Together is usually going to get like one of his key heroes no matter what, because that's just how teams draft for power at the moment.
Also, just before we actually do get to this draft, I'm surrounded by Americans that have Iradomini, like, who thought giving the Americans Latin to pronounce was going to be a good idea? Jason, what do you think about that?
Iradomini coming out of Venator, pulling off some great shots.
Stop, please.
Can we get rid of this Brit, ZP? Can we bring in another American?
No. I'm looking down the center of the barrel right now on who to get rid of for that. Yeah, that was.
Whoa! Is that me you're getting rid of then?
Production, cut the mic. No, just. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank God. No, bring it back. Bring it back. Celeste gets banned.
No, he's out. Oh, a Celeste ban. That's surprising considering we didn't see it. Oh, okay. See ya.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Jason Kaplan show for the Deadlock Night Shift, taking over the broadcast here as we see Leviathan taking away the Celeste as we expect coming into this one. This means I get triple pay, right, gentlemen? Venator being taken away by... Oh, no. Okay, I don't get anything now. What are you drinking, Colors?
It's my Moomin cup. See? Ignore that. Anyway.
Also, Jason, I appreciate the Ninja Turtle in the background. That's good taste.
There's a long story behind that Ninja Turtle that my mother, if she was watching, would be very angry about. Yeah, Ninja Turtle, Raphael.
You're almost there. Yeah. Yeah, there. Yeah.
Also, this is something I called at the beginning of the show that I want to point out. The Venator ban finally came on in. I think Ven is really, really good right now, and you're just gonna see his draft stock go up and up as it goes on. And Abraham's the first one to strike, saying, "No, we're banning the Ven. You're not gonna play it."
Do you think because obviously Venator's just strong in general, but because there are a couple of ways you can build him? Because we just saw the Echo Shard gut shot being picked up for the heavy melee. We've seen the M1 out of John. I mean, I know you're more in favor of the M1 when it comes to Venator's EP, but do you think there's viability in the flexibility of how you can build him?
I think the melee build is a bit of a distraction. The only reason why I say that is that I don't think you have to build melee items on him in order to have his melee be a threat. Like, even if you're building a more generalist Venator in the way that, say, John builds him, you're still going to be really effective if anyone goes in close quarters. And in fact, the one item I think is undervalued on him is greater expansion, just because of how obnoxious it makes traps to deal with, as if they weren't already. But, looking at the drafter going in here, I mean, Abraham's pretty standard stuff where they go, okay, we just want to go double frontline. Leviathan, they pry out the silver when it's available into a Billy, but they also get the Mirage for OCs. And I think when you look at recent games, Mirage has simply been winning more often than not. I like the team that has kind of structured the draft in a way that they get Mirage in the first three, more so than the teams where you're going for other things instead.
So they picked Paige for Abraham's. I mean, that's a Saint special, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see a Rem ban actually come out of Abraham's, because then you really limit the support out of Leviathan. But then, I mean, you could also just play Ivy, and it's not too big of a deal. Ivy with Mirage, as we saw in the last game, is very frustrating. So instead, the ban will come in towards Ivy, allowing Leviathan to go for Rem, but really limiting that global presence you could have out of those two heroes.
Maybe a bit of learning from them. I mean, the fact that they've taken Mirage as well away from Abraham's, that's been an Abraham's real mainstay and staple. Oh, okay. Well, not great talent for you. I'm not surprised by him constantly getting banned out. He was banned out in last week's against Abraham's as well, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, GT also
stacks 8 minutes in on GT just a few weeks back. I mean, I think there's a good reason for sure to see GT ban CP.
I think GT is the one hero where you could almost make the argument that it would be more played overall in the game as a whole if GT himself just looked cooler. Like, if GT looked like Mina, how many more GTs would be seeing in your games? Because I feel like GT's kit is really good, and even though it's been across multiple metas, I think he is at the highest win rate overall in Night Shift as time goes on. But Leviathan, they decide to be the ones being, it's not just Listic, we want to play the Drifter, picking it up after mid-stage ban. So that to me is super, super interesting. And well, I just wonder here, are you going to get Playmaker to go with it? Are you looking toward, and okay, we go Holiday. So the answer is yes.
I think the Eternal Darkness is like underrated currently for a Drifter. I think it's such a pain to deal with, and even like superior duration on all that and making it even more problematic. You just sow chaos into the lobby, Jason, but it's less, I feel like it's less effective in pro play because you're just going up against teams that are more coordinated, right?
I think it makes like objective taking, it's a really good deterrent, I think, for a team. It's not more of, I want to say it's not more of an ultimate that I would use to engage with, because if you pop ultimate, team's just going to run away. It's more of, well, you're trying to push mid boss on us, we're going to take away your vision. You're trying to push a walker, we'll take away your vision. Or if you want to contest something that they're trying to take, it's also pretty decent for that too. But I'm still not sold on Drifter in general, but I 100% agree. I think the Eternal Darkness is massively underrated, and it sows seeds of chaos into the enemy team in the middle of a team fight. Because there's only so much you can say and explain and communicate in a fight.
Yeah. ZP?
I'm looking at this, and I'm just looking at the full teams now. We have them in play. unless Apollo just goes wild, I actually like the Leviathan draft more here. I think Leviathan's endgame, just by virtue of having the Mirage, is really good. I think, the Abrahams, the side of it is like, is Apollo going to be bringing the same level of late game damage that a Mirage is? Is even a Mina? Probably not. But also, I think Rem has been a little bit undervalued in the first game, and even here where you're able to pick up Rem as a bargain sale and then pair it with Silver, where, okay, if you go on recent games, Silver has not been winning. I feel like that is more of an execution issue, and now that you have the Rem backed up to it, if you actually have a good Silver game and you have Rem backing up the Silver and you have a Mirage in the backline, I mean, the frontline play is absolutely fearsome on paper for Leviathan in this game.
It may also be a Silver going up against Abraham's statistic as well, right? Because in the last 4 games of our 2 finals, it has been always on the opposing side of Abraham's, and then they win 2-0. So it's maybe there is some skew there, but again, if it's not working against Abrahams, it's not working.
I mean, that is definitely one thing I take to heart and with a grain of salt when it comes to looking at what heroes are successful or not successful. It's what teams are you playing against? Because any hero you play, like any team that plays against melee creeps, well, their win rate goes down. Any heroes you play against Abrahams, their win rate goes down because those 2 teams are consistently winning, but you can see a trend of like what heroes Abrahams and melee creeps stray towards. But I don't think it's necessarily a hero basis of why Abraham's is better than Leviathan and why melee creeps is better than the teams in North America. I think it's just a team play success out of them. They synergize so well. They know how to build out a draft no matter what you throw at them. I think because we discussed like having 3 bans, right? ZP instead of just 2, and that's going to add a new level of confusion or like a new thing to figure out of like how you want to position your picks, when you want to pick them, when you want to ban away, and it kind of forces teams to relearn how to do the draft. But when it comes to the draft, Abraham's I think even better than melee creeps when it comes to that in particular.
Yeah, so for backstory there, I had to assemble a roundtable that will be taking place after today between, basically representatives of all the top teams and going, hey, do we add an extra ban? And if we add an extra ban, where does the ban get added in the draft? And that's going to be fun to moderate because let me tell you, there's all sorts of opinions there across NA and EU. Who knows what we're going to end up with, but, we'll see. We didn't want to rush into adding an extra ban just because new heroes were added. We want to give it a little bit of time to, see how teams felt.
Is this going to be a private thing, or is this something we're going to do in like the Night Shift Discord where people can like listen in about the teams and how they feel about bans?
Right now it's a private thing because I don't want people to, basically, start going more in the DMs and being weird about things. Like if people are going to argue about it, they should actually be able to argue about it, in reasonable confidence.
That'd be a sick graveyard shift though.
That would be cool.
Team roundtable.
Yeah, that'd be nice. You know what's interesting about this draft? I think this is like one of the first times Rem is being played against Abrahams in a professional game, because normally it's Abrahams that would have it before. So it would be interesting to see if that kind of like macro potential for Leviathan can push up against what Abrahams wants to do. But I think Abrahams' macro and being able to potentially shut that down is quite strong. So I'm interested to see Rem going up against Abrahams. What do you think, Jason?
I think if there's any team you do not want to play Rem against, it's going to be Abrahams because they can play it so well with Saint and they're going to know how to work around it extremely well. I think a lot of it, the success you're going to see on Rem comes around the composition that you're playing him with. Is it like a snowball team where he can easily bounce between player and player and player? Is it going to be a Rem that builds into Echo Shard for the Echo Shard tag along to get that instant burst heal onto one target and become basically unkillable in fights? It's really interesting to see how, in particular, Leviathan go around with the Rem. And we knew at the top the teams are kind of backwards, but we'll get that fixed in a second.
The best of 3. Abraham's looking fantastic here in the Night Shift for Europe. Will they be able to do it again? ZP.
Getting into it, Jason, that is a quick production flip. I mean, normally in some broadcasts, you might have to wait a few minutes until eventually get around to it, and it's just barely been mentioned and already flipped to be accurate.
And that's if the production's even like, watching. I've definitely worked with some productions who like the producer gets up and walks away once the game starts.
Yeah, that's probably more often the norm than not if I'm being honest. Like some productions, there's a lot of productions.
we handcuff our production to their chairs so they cannot leave. And they have bottles in stock if they ever need to use the bathroom.
Pretty much. And the bottles are at times optional. But
they're Night Shift branded though, so at least they got that.
One thing that's interesting to me is I'm looking at the lanes right now. Shiv is in mid lane from the start. I can count on maybe one hand in recent memory anytime we've seen Shiv actually get thrown into mid lane. Almost always a side lane.
Yeah, especially together. He doesn't play mid lane normally, and if he does, he doesn't normally play mid lane actually at all. And that is a great parry coming in from Hoot here, followed up by the barrel at a rate to potentially save him, but it's not going to catch on to anyone. And that's an initial start, an initial 2 kills on the way for Abrahams, getting Hoot up to 1.7k souls.
Also, of all heroes that have that happen to, Silver is the one that doesn't want to get behind. I mean, to be able to make your plays and roam around the map, you need Lycan Curse, and you actually have to have enough money for your Lycan Curse. And Silver in general isn't the one eating jungle as much. You're more getting your farm from being active. So a rough start for Silver, I think, is more painful on her than most of the heroes in the game. Now, that's just the first interaction. It's not like the end of the world, but it can be the start of your path into the grave. So, right lane, a lot more perilous at the moment for Leviathan.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's like Hoot. Normally, when you look at Abrams, God, that's going to... Can we just not allow him to pick Abrams? It's going to be together, but again, if you pick a Shiv, together's normally going to play it, and we've seen so many times him single-handedly carry games, and Rayek just getting dominated here with the charge, and there's another kill coming through. That was more of a ground stomp, more of a Gooba stomp there coming out of Hoot, but he's up to 2.7k, and he's already on fire here, ZP.
That was more of an RKO out of nowhere. If I had to say what that was, it's just like, oh, he's going to escape, and you just see Abrams coming in.
Claris, are you still here, Claris?
Yep, I'm eating a biscuit.
It's Blue Kane. It's Blue Kane from the high road.
Oh my god.
You just absolutely RKO, as you said, CP. I mean, the thing is, you talked about the first death not being a big deal, but it's starting to become a big deal with that another kill coming on the rig.
Also, mid lane, not exactly going super well. Of course, you had the rotation just after. A little bit of a trade out, but yeah, Abraham's the early game looking really good so far. The 1k difference not at all telling the total story at the beginning. But, we'll see how the next few interactions go.
There's only one team that ever was able to lose lane early against an Abraham's type roster and come back, and that was Buff and George. That was Virtus Pro. We would see that consistently happen over here in Europe, especially in the early days back when we were known as Fight Night. And I don't know if Leviathan can come back from something like that, because Abrahams are just too well drilled. They're too well synergized, and they're all on some really strong heroes. Though they do have them very low on HP here under their own Guardian.
People are all sorts of low HP right now on the right-hand side. It's actually pretty tense behind tower, as we see Hoot right now just trying to make space, but eventually ends up falling. They have front drifter to the end. The tower nearly finishes it. Gets the HP heal off the melee lifesteal, but it's not enough to survive. Tass able to finish it off, and everyone just playing on a thread of HP here on the right-hand side, and it's not over yet, Jason.
How is he still alive, Tass, actually? You can see Freemox low on HP, Rake's extremely low on HP as well, and he's going to fall to Saint. Probably one of the worst heroes to die to because of how slow the projectile is, and the domination is just continue on this right-hand side as Hoot's rotated over towards middle to help out this lane.
Yeah, the full lane rotate.
It doesn't really, I think it doesn't really show how dominating this game's been so far for Abrahams, to be honest, ZP.
No, not at all. I mean, the one upside is that the right-hand side, it was only Rayek that ended up getting starved out, but nap time up here into the church creeps as Sanya is just getting the business in off nap time, where if you've played much pubs at all recently, nap time has to be one of your most hated abilities unless you're a Rem main, because even if the nap time doesn't kill you, whatever comes after nap time certainly will.
Usually after nap time, it's snack time, and well, not for Sanya's sniper there. It goes back towards base. And we're seeing a bit of play here out of D-Mauve. I feel like Apollo could fit definitely into the kit of D-Mauve. I mean, D-Mauve in general is just so versatile as a player. He can play any hero in any role and still be successful. But we don't often see D-Mauve in these positions where he can carry games necessarily. But I think Apollo's right up his alley with 3 kills already.
Well, he would also be too, because D-Mauve's entire play style, going back as long as I can remember, even to the point where he threw some games in the Buff Enjoyers days, is limit testing. He is the limit tester in chief, which is also how you get really, really good, especially at games with MOBA elements. So if you're someone where your natural play style is trying to push the limits as far as possible, get away with murder, Apollo's kit is essentially tailor-made for that, between riposte, flawless advance, and just how everything works together for Apollo. It's made for D-Mauve, so it doesn't surprise me at all to see him trying to pick up the hero, add it to its kit, but the swap down here in mid lane as OCs ends up falling.
You know, you brought up one point that I think is extremely important: limit testing. So if you see me in any of your games and I feed like 10 kills, I'm just limit testing. Just know that I'm not bad at the game. I'm just testing my limits of my sanity, running it down time and time again, and more important, the sanity of my teammates. But yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, the thing is, I feel like Dimov can get away with that, especially with the supporting cast around him. I feel like, yeah, I mean, if he feeds one game, it's not a big deal because you still have to get through the other 5 members of his team.
Also, when you're ahead of the meta, it's the right time to start mixing Apollo and making him a mainstay if you already feel like you have a bit of an edge. But also, you look at how the Apollo's being played. Bit of roaming coming out here right now. 3 stack for Abrahams in the mid lane. We'll see. Based on how Sai's play, I think Sai's pretty aware that there's 3 heroes in mid, and I don't know if they can do a whole lot as 2 to prevent this Guardian from just getting run over.
Well, they're going to be ran over. Sai gets swapped in, immediately cleaned up here, and that Guardian's going to fall in quick succession as a counter push comes in on Leviathan on the left-hand side, leaving Together to be the one to defend against it, though there is going to be the little helpers here as well to continue the push on through. On the right-hand side, though, we're going to tag along with Hoot here, looking to survive up against this Silver and this Holiday. The supported page off to the side, he should be able to hold on for a bit longer. And the push on the left-hand side of Leviathan has been shut down.
Drifter getting the quick parry here onto the Guardian, and now looking for a little bit of Page, and Page super low HP, shouldn't be able to get out of this one. One more auto will do it. And not the worst right now off the rotation, as I said, at the rake getting caught, but guess what? A little bit more farm here, the Freemok and the Drifter. And look, in terms of people you want to get farm for Leviathan, you want Freemok inside to be feasting early on, so this isn't the worst. Helps even up the gap. They're going to get the Guardian on top of it and makes the first earn at 10 minutes a little bit more competitive for Leviathan.
Yeah, I mean, credit to them. It was a slaughter at the beginning of the game. The Eternal Knight has come out on the right-hand side. Side's just being danced around, though, by Dimov, hitting every single one of those perfect advances. The Tani Losan coming through as well to lock Freemok under the Guardian and gets the kill onto him on top of that. And just as quickly as they took a Guardian, they're going to lose one themselves.
And the question for me is, does Dimov die in this game? Where, you know, it's always scary when you have a player that's kind of known for, you know, living life on the edge. It goes, yes, I'm going to play the hero that was designed for that. A very good game for Dimov, roaming and all. But back here into mid lane, looking at Leviathan as a long-range tag-along on the OCs, and from there resuming.
Yeah, and I really wish they would make some spectator changes just to see what level the skills are. And we can see that nap time is going to be level 2, so it's getting towards max ulti. But I want to see like tag along and little helpers. Like, I think it's really important to notice where's the investment going. When Saint plays it, he maxes out little helpers. I believe he did actually, he actually went for tag along initially when we saw him, and I think he switched over to little helpers as a max. But also, maxing your nap time is not bad if you're looking to skirmish quite a bit, and we're seeing another one break out here yet again.
Leviathan trying to make something happen here in their own jungle versus Abraham's. Both teams getting to it. Abraham's a little bit lower here so far. Hoot, though, hops on in with the seismic slam, but also eats a chunk of damage right on after. Sai still on the assault, lands the parry and the damage on the Hoot at the very end. Big pickup here from Leviathan as about 30 seconds remain before first set of buffs and earn.
Task solo on HP here. Needs to not die right now, considering 30 seconds time we're going to be seeing the Urn spawn in. He's going to fall to Freemok. It's a good pickup here at Leviathan. And actually, with the man advantage, there's definitely the possibility for him to gain some ground. I mean, they're leaving OCs to solo farm on this right-hand side, as we typically see for this camp. It's about how much of a lead and how much of a gap he can create against his opponents here, and how quickly, more importantly, he can get online here. But credit to the rest of his team. They're doing, you know, pretty damn well here so far.
Buffs come up together, picks off Freemok instantly as buffs spawn. And that is rough. Itani Losan in from Dimov, looking for Rem, slices him right out with the help of Saint. So 2 down for Leviathan right at the 10-minute mark. And again, I'm just looking at Dimov wondering, is he going to die this game? Sigil in onto Drifter on the chase down. Flawless Advance not going to hit, but I'm not sure Sai's getting away. Together, close enough to complete the kills. So the buff contest goes completely awry, Jason, for Leviathan.
Yeah, and this is where they sense blood in the water and they swarm over you like sharks. They turn it into, what was it, 3-4 kills and an earned turn-in. That lead going to be bolstered up to close to 10k at this point when that gets dunked in, about 8 to 9k mark. And Leviathan have to be careful because, honestly, Abraham's, they're a team that doesn't really make many mistakes. And they're so good at punishing the mistakes you make and creating more and more of a lead here, as potentially Arizumi going to be getting caught out here as the reinforcements out of Freemox to be around the corner, going for the chase onto Saint. Even Billy going to be going on through here. Overseas looking for a catch onto someone, and look at Saint just dancing away, eventually to be closed on the gap as Rake gets the barrel on top of him. But there's going to be the lasso as well onto the Shiv. Together's going to be into a hot pot of a situation. No dash, nothing to get away from this one, and Leviathan quickly turn that around.
Just when you wonder, it's like, hey, is this going to be a great Shiv escape? You hear the woo come out. It's like, absolutely not. Eaten alive by Freemock towards the very end. But even giving up those 2 kills, Abraham's nursing a pretty healthy lead here so far, and also a game where we're learning new things about Apollo. Dimov basically has done a lot of roaming this game, gotten a lot of key kills, is firmly ahead of the game at 11k, where the next highest is at, I think not, well, his own team, actually. Sanya's at 13k, but in terms of Leviathan, the highest on Leviathan is at 9.5k. I'm just curious to see how far this Apollo goes in this game.
It's been a bit different compared to the last game where we saw Listic playing Apollo, right? Like Listic did a very similar thing of rotating around early, but I think Listic was rotating much earlier, more consistently. But Dimov is getting involved in a lot of these fights, but not necessarily by himself. It's not like he's ganking a lane. He's kind of there with his team and just confirming these kills, and he's keeping that effectiveness. And it's whether or not his impact is going to fall off as the game goes on, or if he's going to continue to maintain that same level of impact. Because if you're Rem right now, you don't want to get perfect advanced on.
OCs is in all sorts of danger. Flawless advanced gank from Dimov in off the outskirts. However, you are Mirage, you are a little bit sneaky, you can get back to the Walker. Back over into the mid though, swap in and onto Sai. Sai pretty low HP. Gonna get some backup here from Overseas, coming on in, looking for the Shiv. Chain Gang already used here in onto the Shiv, and yeah, I mean, Shiv's super low. Bloodletting gonna end up ticking as Sai gets the finish on the outskirts, so not the worst counter engage.
Yeah, they get themselves a kill. They get themselves a Guardian too. Potentially a couple of kills on this left-hand side, as we can see Sanya going to be committing a long time here with Dimov to go for this Walker. And now on the retreat, realistically, they should be getting caught. At least one of them should be going down here to see the Dispel Magic being used, and the distance has been created. The last one not going to connect, just barely missing over onto Sanya. The rotation, it didn't net them anything, but at least deterred them away from that Walker.
That lasso would have been absolutely absurd if it hits, but okay. Dimov, a little bit of an ambush there. Cold front out, and mostly just protecting the sinners. Not interested in the chase down.
Well, the fight's not done yet. Together, up at a 1-on-2, trying to bait them in for the reinforcements. He's got Killing Blow maxed. Again, something to keep a note. More and more Shivs just going for Killing Blow max. And oh my god, Sanya's just doing some insane damage here to Overseas, and together just chimes in for the finish. Some might even say the Killing Blow ZP.
They would say that. There's a lot of reasons they would in fact say that.
The enemy could be anywhere.
However, we got Sanya on the retreat. Abraham's still pretty heavily invested on the left-hand side. Dimov hanging out with Together as taking a look at Sanya right now, taking a bite out of Sai, and Sai not going to win this Vampire off, but asks for a little bit of help here from the Holiday. Sai still ends up falling towards the very end, and Sanya's still hungry. Sanya now putting Holiday on the menu. However, Billy coming in from the back, going to force a Sanguine retreat out, and we'll see if Sanya is able to get away.
Vampire's hunger is never satiated, ZP. And you could just see the confidence Sanya had to continue to push him. He's at 17,000. Who's going to stop him in a one-on-one? You think Sai at 11k is going to do it? You think Overseas at 11k is going to do it? I don't think anyone now can 1v1 him anymore with the lead that he's been able to get so far in this match. He has space created by Together and Hoot. Even Dimov mixed into the pool here, and they're sporting a 12k lead. Honestly, I think we're a few minutes away from a mid-boss being taken by Abrahams at this rate because of how they like to play and how aggressive they like to go for objectives.
I mean, for them, that would even be an early mid-boss. But you know what they do get here, Jason, is that buffs come and they get both sets of buffs. Absolutely no contest out from Leviathan. And if you're Leviathan, I mean, you know, ideally, you'd want to get an urn to your side. And they are going to get the urn pickup. Now, the interesting thing here for Abrahams is pressuring the left-hand side. Ideally, they get left-hand Walker and then pressure urn turn in. Osizo gets on the Together, and he may have been a little bit deep.
Oh my god, how's he gonna escape this one? He might have gotten away. Dimov now, he's under pressure. The Toxic Bullets and the Jin's Mark all fully stacked up on top of him. He's in a 1v1 where the rest of the team is gonna be fighting on the right-hand side. And the urn in the hands Zumi's probably just gonna go straight for the dunk here. They need this here. Sonya's gonna get a kill into Rayek. They have a Walker they can take on the right-hand side to give away this urn. Still, overall, I'd say a macro win for Abrahams here if they do take that Walker.
If they don't get the Walker, though, it does get Leviathan a lot more into the game, but the right-hand Walker, super low at this point. It's going to fall. Question is, can you get a few kills on the back end? Hoot dives on in with the seismic slam. However, Leviathan, reasonably healthy here. The wall is out, and in comes Freemock on the silver, tearing away. Gonna cut Hoot down the size, but here comes Raid Boss. Sanya up over, takes the fight up close and personal versus Silver. That's bold, and ends up getting punished for the hubris.
I mean, Sonya, you're ahead, but you're not 1v3 ahead. I'll tell you that right now, as we saw.
1v3 into a Silver that still has ult up ahead. That's like, wait a second. What's going on here?
Well, what's going on is, even with those deaths, Abrahams are still able to pick up one kill on the left-hand side and quickly retreat away. They did lose Hoot, Tass, and Sonya, all three, and that lead they had of 12k has been shortened to only 4k difference. I was saying maybe Abrahams could be seen a mid-boss sometime soon, but with those deaths and with that lead falling, I think we're definitely going to see a delay on this one. But it's coming down to me for like that 20-minute mark. The last time when we're at 15 minutes, we had a big fight around buffs, and that's where Abrahams were able to build up such a steady lead. But I think this next urn and buffs are really going to kind of determine how this game goes.
Again, I think it is worth noting that as far as late game opportunities go, Leviathan probably scales a bit better. I mean, when you have late game Silver, Drifter, Rem, and particularly, the biggest one of all, Mirage, it can go late if they don't get ultra far behind. So, I do wonder how they go for the next set of buffs. You don't necessarily, you can give up buffs even though it feels pretty bad if you feel like the alternative is going for buffs and losing 3 people and, losing even more on the map, just weigh your fights. Although even in a neutral fight right now, Jason, I don't think necessarily Leviathan is weaker.
Yeah, I think you can obviously talk about comps, and I think if we're talking about compositions, especially when it comes to late game, Leviathan, I think, do win out. But I can't just talk about comps. I can't just talk about drafts. I have to talk about the fact that Abrahams, they have won the last, 14 night shifts. And even with a better composition, even in the later stages of the game, there's still a threat no matter what here. As we do have, again, a little fighter breaking out a little bit before buff. So you can see the amount of damage Freemock is able to do. Gets swapped back towards the ground. And yet with the sweet movement coming through, gets back on the high ground here to go for Tass. Even the nap time being used now as they're looking for a catch on a Demov.
I think the nap time may have gotten riposted, by the way, because I didn't see any sleep go down onto Demov. Demov just kept moving, so either counterspell or riposte likely happening there. But off onto the stairs right now, a little bit of kiting being done at Together's expense. Low HP on the Shiv, even lower though is OC's, and he goes too deep once more. Gets a pillow in his face for the danger. Hoot though tracks down Psy. OC's super low, kind of nearby the fight still, but really can't show his face, Jason. As the lasso comes in on the Hoot. Oh!
Bro, the movement, the cancel and shoulder charge for the movement away as well. Pulls 2 enemies towards his team, and even being down a player, they're still confident to fight in this one. They get a kill into OC's. Rayek is 1 HP, and he does get dropped by Hoot. And now Silver, not only just Silver, they got another player off to the side as well. I think it's Overseas trying to fight against the squad, the full squad of Abrahams. But realistically, can you win this fight right now? Not with movement like this.
Freemock making people move. Sanya got low, backed out, still got a pick off, and Lycan Curse just about to fade. Abrahams looking for some pickoffs there towards the end. Carbine wall now in from Tass. Swap still up, just decided not to use it at the moment. Also, Jason, I got rewind, and well, I'll wait a moment to rewind. The parry comes in, and actually Freemock taking Hoot to task. Sanya, though, coming to make this a very uneven fight, looking for Freemock. And Lycan Curse is not back up, but the right hook from Hoot certainly is. More of a left hook.
This fight, it's just never end. I mean, left, right, it doesn't matter. The hook's going to hurt no matter what it is, whether it's southpaw or whatever the other punch is. I don't know. I've never fought someone before.
It's just southpaw. I don't think there's no right paw. There's no north paw. Like, yeah.
Why? Is southpaw meant to be like your weaker hand, or is it meant to be left hand?
It's lefties. Okay. Southpaw fighters.
That's right, you losers. All you right-handed people out there, you have no name.
All right, well, swap comes on in, a quick finish on the rake as the urn control goes to Abrahams, and slowly but surely Abrahams adding on to their lead. And one thing I wanted to point out in the last fight that was a little bit odd is OC's was at about 2 HP and just wearing lanes and hang on. Nap time on the Sanya. There's a lot of people around here. This could be Sanya's doom. Do they have a slowing hex? Do they have anything for the lockdown? And no, Sanguine Retreat going to come out the top. We'll see if there's an extra level of chase down here, but it looks like off the movement, Sanya should be absolutely A-okay.
It's crazy. Just, I mean, still the amount of movement you have as Mina. Even with some nerfs coming through, and Demov gets away on top of this. Anytime Leviathan try to go for a catch here, they have to depend on the lasso, unless Abraham's, or it's either the lasso or the nap time, let's be fair. They don't really have any like solid lockdown outside of that, and you can see, okay, Sai gets some information of where Sonya's going to be. He's a little bit hesitant to take the fight by himself. Even sees Together now running away on the Shiv. Eternal Darkness comes in, catches onto 2, but I think it's more of a retreat play than an aggressive play, and he gets pummeled into the wall by Hood and instantly blown up.
Hood is practically a horror villain right now, just coming out of nowhere in some of these charges. But a quick dispatch of 2 players, 21 minutes, and this could be our first mid-boss of the game as Abrahams dives on in, and Hood says he has to do a little bit of shopping before commencing into the violence on the mid-boss.
I mean, look at this though. Rayek on the right-hand side's taking a walker, so they're at least taking something while losing mid-boss. I don't think you can contest with OC's not there, with Rayek not there. You're letting this one go for free, but you're trying to maximize what you're going to be losing here with that rejuve being taken.
They have Chain Gang. I don't know if they're going to go for... No, okay. There is a world where you can justify, hey, if you steal 1 rejuve charge, it's worth because it's like exponentially easier to defend 2 rejuves than 1. But in this case, they decide to let it go. Swap over towards the teleporter as Tass leaves the teleporter, says he still wants to fight. Looking for Overseas, who actually pretty low right now, just getting beaten down in fisticuffs. Billy or no? And now Billy trying to go for the Scooby-Doo defense once more. Back and forth, gets parried. 150 HP.
No way.
And another round of teleport. Another round of teleporting. 150 HP, still alive, but finally goes down.
I was going to say, wasn't there someone right at the shop? I mean, he bought a lot of time, but still 3 Rouges been picked up for Abrahams. They do have a 13k lead here and a lot of farm to pick up across the map to make these pushes effective. This is looking a little bit grim for Leviathan, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just off the soul count right now, but what the soul count is about to be. Also, as anyone that's played any amount of Holiday knows, like, it just feels bad when playing against Rejuve. You know, Lasso is a long cooldown. You want to make the most of it. And even if you have the best Lasso pick in the world, Tornado went into the door frame. It did not get clearance, making this a little bit more scary. As Hoot comes down Broad Street. Charge does not connect. If it did, that would have been one very dead OCs, but off a whiff Tornado, this nearly got real ugly and still might. The Toxic Bolt is sticking. He goes down.
Not a good sign here for OCs. Abraham's continuing to push with these 3 Rejuves, looking for that mid walker and looking for kills to top it off. False events coming through, trying to get a catch, but it doesn't seem to catch too much damage. The nap time's going to be pretty good, followed up by a chain gang. A good start, but the problem is they don't have the men and they don't have the damage to take down all 3 Rejuves at once. And Taylor's just looking for an opportunity to go for these resets with the killing blow, and they do get the catch onto Overseas. Maybe he can get back to base, but they're still going to lose the walker nonetheless. Oh my god, that is a big face of me. Sorry, I saw chat and there's a gigantified face of me, and I didn't expect that.
Well, you know, they also didn't expect a Tani Losan right down the middle. Demov picks up another with the Rejuve. There's absolutely going to be no hesitation. Demov, the dive into the back. Advancing Assault, or Fearless Advance, one more time. Chases down Overseas, and 9 kill streak for Demov. And Jason, I'm pretty sure that's a 9-0, because I don't recall Demov dying in this game. Do you?
I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if he was 9-0. I mean, he's slowly fallen behind when it comes to the farm, but he's still being massively effective with the greater expansion as well. The Arrow, you help me out with the name again, the ultimate?
For whose ultimate? Sorry?
For Apollo. Help me out.
For Apollo, Tani Losan.
Tani Losan is massive. Thank you. I knew you had my back there. As we saw listed before, the distance you can cover with that is just redonkulous. And now Abraham's, I mean, they quickly turned what was like a 7-8k lead into almost 30,000. And it's not every day we see Together pass up on a survival buff.
Sanya just says, give it to me. Make Mina even more ridiculous to try and take down. But something to note here, especially for those in pub games, the urn is a worthwhile objective to do, including defending the urn when you're ahead. Abraham's going to take that advice to heart and look to just bring in this urn. Well, they still have 2 charges of Rejuve on top of it, so Not really too much Leviathan can do about it.
They sent 3-4 players at Sonya, even a lasso, and now in nap time, they're committing so much to get this one player that they're ignoring the urn, they're ignoring their left walker being taken, and even if Sonya falls here, they're still going to win the fight nonetheless.
Senya also has the rejuve, which is why Senya saved the Sanguine to immediately Sanguine post rejuve. And you just use verticality as Mina. Like, the scariest part about Sanguine, it's not that it's a disjoint and gives you distance. It's the fact that you can use it to get elevation to get away. And Tani Losan comes in. It's going to be, again, just chunking damage as we have another advance in from Dimov, who at this point may as well be immortal. You still have the rejuve in stock, and you haven't died all game regardless. And the hyperline on top of it. That's just brutal.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to get the kill. Well, he won't get the kill, but Dimov might go in for it as I see him diving deep to pick up this under the Hidden King as well. Yeah, I don't know, ZP, 42k ahead. You see how much they invested to take down Sonya Sniper, and yet they couldn't kill him twice. They only got the rejuve. This is looking like a tough game that you really don't come back from. I don't think you can stall the game long enough for OCs to come online at this point.
Also, I hate to be the person doing it because I think the hero has a lot of potential and there's a lot of things conspiring against it, even as Hoot gets picked off. But assuming that Leviathan loses, which is looking to be the case, it is yet another silver loss in the books.
Yeah, but is it silver or is it because it's Abraham's? I mean, I think that's the question you come down to at the end of the day. Any heroes that get, like any hero that's affected, or sorry, played against Abraham's, and their win rate gets dropped, especially if you consistently play, is it the hero or is it just because you're playing against Abraham's?
That was also the case in North America too, where it was silver getting played against melee creeps. To be clear.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, again, is it the hero or is it because you're playing against the best team in the region? I think that's a question that you really have to think about.
On some point, you have to ask, why is the best team in the region not prioritizing playing silver or denying silver if it's a good hero to pick at that level of the draft?
That's also a very good point.
Because I do think the problem with silver and the win rate, it's not that silver is bad, but silver may be getting overvalued in draft. Like, it is a drafting error more so than execution error. And it's not that the hero wouldn't get picked, it's just grabbing silver and giving up Shiv, is that worthwhile? And so far, I mean, the Shiv win rate in the head-to-head against silver has been enormous.
Yeah, every top team, like Abraham's and melee creeps, I mean, like I said, the top of the region, they have a Shiv player who is just ridiculous if you give them Shiv. So that almost inherently draws out a ban towards Shiv or a counter pick towards Shiv. And I think that's kind of interesting to see. Like, as melee creeps, you have Do or you have Ido. Doesn't matter who plays it, it's still going to be top level. And then you look over at Abraham's and you have Dimov or together, but generally you're going to be together. I'm trying to think, have we seen any other teams have like a really good standout Shiv? Doesn't matter for now though, ZP.
For BWC. But
who for BWC?
Arctic. When Arctic was playing Shiv. Like, Arctic had some really, really good games in Shiv in North America.
I guess technically the question is at fault because you're still playing against the best team. I don't know.
True. But, okay, you know, nap time. Saint, though. Grabs overseas, not a problem. Rake running for his life in the midst of it as Rem is getting beaten up from all ends here. And you may be small, you may be a little bit evasive, but Dimov is on the case, and Dimov has not been letting kills really get away from him all game long. And okay, flawless advance. Does this actually hit from this angle? Not quite, but doesn't need to.
Yeah, that's only Rake left to defend now. And a mid boss to be taken by Abrahams. It's just only a matter of time before this game gets closed out. I don't see a real world where we're seeing Abrahams blow a 50, 60k lead here up against Leviathan. And the Venator, I mean, being banned up by Abrahams, I think, you know, as you mentioned before in the show quite a few times, maybe they're onto something, because Venator has been on the rise and has been generally really effective. And if they can't lock it in for themselves, they don't want the opponents to have it.
You know, I don't know where the meme started, the potential woman meme. I don't know if it was like a jujitsu folk or a pirate folk, you know, one of those fandoms, but really the chat just exploded with silver is potential woman is where it's at right now. You know, basically, like, on paper, it could be really good, but in practice, no, nothing is happening here. And then I've also seen more people talk about the silver delusion is a commonly held phrase.
Somebody would say silver delulu, right?
Some may say that. I mean, look, in our chat, I'm sure like all variations have been said at one point or another.
What's like the female equivalent of Unk? Is there one?
I don't know. I mean, you could just say aunt, but that's not really the same.
It's not really different, right?
No.
On? Unk and on?
Yeah, I don't think it works in reverse.
Auntie boys, it's auntie.
Oh.
But I use auntie like I don't call my uncle Unk. I call my uncle like uncle, and I'll call my aunt auntie.
I'll go with Bucket's explanation for now. But also, that's because, Jason, it's a 70k lead, and Abraham says Rejuvenator. We're just talking right now. There's not a lot Leviathan can do short of the biggest throw of all time. Chang'e, though, into Fountain. That'd be one way to bring things around, as Dimov doesn't care. There's Riposte in there, and finally, the on-fire streak is over. He doesn't actually take a full death here, but hey, it may be the first death. Dimov finally goes down. A hearty 90-second death timer for disrespecting the Fountain. And now Hoot ends up getting parried. It's going to be 2 down for Abrahams. This is, a little bit risky. I don't think they can throw, really, but they're trying.
Let them try, ZP. They might be surprised you here, as now that's going to be Together Fallen. No Reju's left anymore. Gets a knock up with a Tornado. He should be able to close out this kill. At least I would hope so here. They'd have lost their shrines, though. And Abrahams now have lost 2 players. Now Leviathan going on the attack, trying to close this gap. But they're still down 80k almost in this fight. So it's not over just yet. It's not easy and sold for them. It's now Saint's going to fall.
3 dead.
Okay.
And, okay, Hoot is still alive at 4k HP and may be able to take the remainder down by himself with Sanya. So even getting a few kills, some gift wrapped to them inside the Fountain, it's still not going to be enough, as Hoot and Sanya may just be taking down the second stage patron on their lonesome here in just a moment.
God, the Arctic Blast. No chance. You know what? While this game is finishing off and we do have Abrahams taking the 1-0 lead up against Leviathan, I think there's a more important question to discuss here, ZP. And do you know what that question is?
What's that?
Puckett, if you're still here, I'm going to tag you in Discord. How would you say this word?
Getting tagged.
Oh no. Why would you do this?
How would you say that word?
Riposte.
Fuck, damn it. Bro, it's an I. Rye. R-I, Riposte. You say right as right.
No.
No, that's a riposte. Come on, my old man.
Well done, Pocket. I appreciate that. Stop pressing your button. Stop it. I have it too.
Can we Morse code this post match?
Yeah, where riposte comes from in the French. Anyway, yes, that's of course Abrahams getting the 1-0 to start things off. Looking brutal in execution as well, Jason and ZP. I mean, I was loving what Dimov was doing. It felt like all of the Etani low sands, he really did have no equal at the beginning, ZP. It was like perfectly timed to get those first early kills and then snowball it from there.
Yeah, all in all, it's kind of interesting for Abrahams because you wonder, okay, do they believe in Apollo? Do they just want to get experience on it? Dimov looks good for all the reasons that we kind of set up beforehand of when you grab a hero whose entire kit is based around limit testing and you have a player who very much rides the line on how deep they can go before dying, it makes sense that Dimov was the one that ended up on Apollo and didn't die the entire game until the very end, whereas it turns out the entire team in the Fountain can combine to take down an Apollo.
Yeah, I felt like that kind of didn't count by the point, right, Jason? That was just the icing on the cake for Abrams. Just finish things off, and if they die, so be it.
Yeah, I mean, you're 70k ahead. You're realistically not gonna lose the game unless you intentionally throw because you want to drag the game on even further. I mean, you saw Hoot there. No one could 1v1 him anymore. He was just dominating as the big blue beast. But yeah, I mean, Abrahams, I felt like from the get-go they had control of that game. Honestly.
Yeah, obviously there was the start of it where they had themselves a decent lead. Leviathan brought it a little bit back, but never to a point where it felt like they were going to be able to tip the scales. As we take a look at the highlights from this game, and again, Abrahams just showing some great flexibility, right? If it's not Together playing Abrams and being able to be super annoying, Hoot's playing an excellent Abrams as well, just being a nuisance this whole game, ZP.
Yeah, and again, look at the draft going into this. On paper, I think Leviathan had a comp that could have worked. Like, honestly, again, I can't escape the entire idea of, is Silver potential woman? What is going on in the draft? Because overall, the one trend that we keep seeing is that Silver versus Shiv, the team with Shiv is always winning. I think Jason brought up a good point, though, is that Shiv also is getting max value out of the hero because people have been playing nothing but Shiv for a year now. So there is a difference in execution between the two heroes. And, maybe if this is the right approach that Leviathan brought into this game, it's not here yet because the execution doesn't match, at least for now.
I was hoping to see some more kind of value from the Drifter, Jason, and it didn't really get there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the theory of Drifter, but I just don't think he's necessarily a good hero. I don't. He's like, if I'm gonna play Drifter, I'd rather just play like Infernus, to be honest. And I think something we wanted to talk about before ZP was like the downfall of Infernus. How we still think he's still pretty damn strong, but I mean his 2 has like a damage over time mechanic. His ultimate does take away vision, but he doesn't have much more beyond that.
Jason,
from what we're seeing.
That brings me to the idea is that I think part of why heroes like Wraith and Furnace have been a little bit power crept is that the ultimates that they have are not as strong as they otherwise could be. Here's my idea for a rework of the Infernus ultimate, which I just think would be more visually entertaining. Actually make an explosion that knocks back. So like, remember the old Bebop uppercut where you got knocked up and you couldn't do any movement whatsoever? Like, make it so you get hit by an Infernus explosion, people go flying, they lose all air control until they hit the ground, and then, disable your dash for like 3 seconds. And okay, some people may go, well, a stun would still be more powerful, right? If that's the case, give it more damage, do something, but make it entertaining at the very least. That's
so
where
it
I'm at.
becomes a walking nuke.
Yes. I mean, it's concussive combustion. It makes sense.
Yeah, I like the idea. It's kind of cool. It's like the unstable concoction maybe in Street Brawl, but maybe without the death, hopefully. Here's the numbers coming in, though, from Abrahams. As you can see, Sanya Sniper, geez Louise, so much damage coming out from the Mina. It doesn't matter what you put him on here, Jason. He's able to put out the numbers.
I mean, because, okay, again, like Spirit heavy with Mina, he was also, like 5-6K ahead of his opponents. I think he was at 17K when his opponents were at 11K.
Yeah,
he was so good at taking that advantage and rolling with it. Like, it's so easy, I think, for him as the role he plays in the team to just sit there and farm and just keep farming and not get involved because he plays the late game carries for the team. But be able to flip that on a switch to play Mina to be more aggressive, recognizing you're so far ahead, to really use that to punish. I think that's what's making him such a good player. I mean, 42,000 souls is ridiculous, but also another player that's kind of scary here, who only 37,000 souls, but Shadow Weave, Echo Shard, Superior Duration. Brutal. My God, you're screwed.
We saw together using it last week as well. As it is terrifying to go up against CP. I've had to go up against it in my matches recently as well, and I was already not having much fun against Abrams, just running me down, and then he does this. I'm like, oh God, please leave me alone.
I mean, that happens.
But you don't enjoy Abrams just teleporting onto you out of nowhere and then taking you out. Like, honestly, it just gave me an idea for a skin though. You know how in the boys, like whenever a train runs, you hear like a train sound. We need Conductor Abrams, where when he jump scares you, you also just hear the sound of a freight train like slamming you into the wall. Like, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I like the idea of that skin, Jason. That sounds good. But you've already got one that you want to put out as soon as you get to 1.2k subs, right? So we got to get there first.
ZP, chill, bro. Keep these ideas to yourself and then give them to Ozzy and be like, give me royalties on this idea.
True.
My energy's coming out here, ZP, okay? But that's Abraham's just, they didn't really struggle at all in that game. I think they lost one player early. No, they didn't. They actually destroyed that lane really hard, getting 3 kills before anything was returned on them. They're unstoppable. I mean, that is Abraham's. I think it's about every other team, Loki W, Leviathan, any of the teams out there that exist, to try to figure out where are the weak links against them. And more importantly, to play a perfect game, because you kind of have to if you want to beat them.
I thought the 1940 fight when they were kind of just above mid-boss CP was going to be where they got 3 kills. And then I thought that was going to be the eventual snowball factor, where Abrahams was going to be able to then take a fight there, go straight down to mid-boss. But at least Leviathan was able to kind of stagnate that fight a little bit and keep themselves in it a bit further. So at least there is some fight here from Leviathan against Abrahams.
Yeah, and I mean, also, the note about Leviathan is that they have effectively been the number 2 team in EU for quite a while now, where Loki W is able to challenge them from time to time. Probably should have beaten them earlier today at the 60k lead, but, the reality is Leviathan is still a really good team. They're not really that far behind mechanically. It's just Abrahams as a total package almost makes things look easy, but, for Leviathan, they're still going to find advantages in the game, and it's difficult even for Abrahams to completely steamroll them in the end.
Well, Jason seems to be having a great time.
Bro, someone in chat was like, why does Jason Kaplan blink so slow? And now I'm like really self-conscious about how I'm blinking. So can we go to break so I can go look in a mirror to see how I blink?
They're doing it on purpose. They're trying to get... Anyway, whatever. It's time for that break. When we return, we have got Abrahams here going up against Leviathan. Game number 2 to see if Leviathan can bring it back.
Bruh.
All right, welcome back. We potentially have one more game left, or 2, depending on if we can have the overcoming of what Abrams is able to bring to the table here for Deadlock Night Shift number 27. That is a big question, though, because right now, Abrahams is on an unreal streak. As always, Jason Kaplan and ZP joining me. ZP, what do you have to do to topple this giant?
Honestly, it's hard to say. I think it's actually pretty demoralizing where you go into a draft like that and they pick up Apollo as the last pick and you go, he hasn't looked all that good. And D-Mob just actually runs 11 kills in a row without dying. It's just the versatility of Abrahams is scary. And even when you go with a good draft and a good plan, things don't necessarily seem to work out. So, look, I'd love to give the actual plan here to Leviathan, but the reality is that Abrahams hasn't won this many night shifts in a row without good reason.
No, true. Jason, how many blinks do you give Abrahams? 5 blinks or 5 out of 5? One blink.
That's it.
Don't do all 5, please.
Wait. No, I'm not gonna do anymore. I'm not gonna waste time because I want to get into the draft here as soon as possible. Like honestly, it's cool to see these two teams play. It's cool to see Abrahams continue to show they can play anything. And I'm so glad you asked ZP that question about what two teams need to do to beat Abrahams because I don't have an answer. And if I did have an answer,
tough.
I wouldn't say it for free. You better pay me the big bucks and I'll tell you, how to do it. No one's been able to figure it out. But what I would love to see, bro, come on, let's you know what, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it like an Airbnb somewhere over here in Europe. Let's bring out all the teams. And by all the teams, I mean just Abraham's melee creeps. Let's do like a best of 7. Let's bring all the casters, best of 7, those two teams head to head out of LAN and see who truly is the best team in Deadlock right now.
Yeah, Krakow's got some lovely places. Just saying.
You have like Jason, 8 bedrooms, right? So.
Whoa, not me. No.
Just take out all your like Warhammer stuff out of like 3 of the rooms so we can use it.
What was the city that Take TV was in? Like, surely that can't be too expensive. Krefeld. Like, I mean, look,
nobody wants to go to Krefeld.
No, I look, Kalaris, I am there. Okay, I was there at Ground Zero where like Blizzard put us in a hotel that was so bad that there was an emergency owner with OWL like owners complaining to the person writing the thing, saying like, we will pull the players out if you don't book a different hotel. Like I know all about Krefeld, but it is cheap.
That is factually correct. Krefeld. It's cheap. There is the sale pitch.
They have one kebab place and one McDonald's, and that's it.
The McDonald's are the closest, and In Control had an amazing story. Anyway, it's time for Game 2's draft. Shut off as Abrahams goes up against Leviathan.
What's the first ban? It's Celeste.
Let's see it.
It's so funny when the first game, I think Leviathan and Loki W, it was either a gentleman's agreement or they just knew that neither team really wanted to play Celeste, which is why it didn't show up at all. But then as soon as Leviathan goes against Abrahams, they're like, yeah, no, you guys don't get to play Celeste. We're not going to let you have that happen. But Abrahams in the same note says, we respect the clergy, or rather, we don't want to fight against it, as Ven immediately gets banned in turn.
I'm just struggling because I want to say something, but I just really shouldn't say anything about religion on the show when it comes to him in particular.
Smart move. Uh-oh.
Why not? If it doesn't work, you just got to try again until it works, right?
I was hoping to take Abrams.
That would be nice. Who actually would be the Abrams player on Leviathan?
So you need a monster hunter, huh?
Thank you, October Wow, for gifting a normal name this show. I did not want to have to talk about some of the names that you gifted subs to before, but we see the shift. I mean, again, we talked about like the flexibility of Abrahams. I talked about like how Abrahams and Melee Creeps both have insanely good Shiv players. Why are you giving LeBron the ball? Why are you giving them you're giving 2 LeBrons 2 balls?
So the last time Abrams went for Leviathan, it was Bob, and he's gone. So, anyway.
Yeah. Also, to be clear, that's 2 actual LeBrons, not LeBron and Bronny. There is a pretty considerable difference.
No, I'm talking about good players, not the son of a good player who gets into a team.
Yeah. I mean, overall, we're just kind of retreading what we had in the last draft here, which means Leviathan is probably going to come in with Mirage, which is the right pick based on what you have. But overall, this didn't work out in the last game. Okay, this is the change. They decide we want to go Paradox instead of Mirage. I don't know if that's an upgrade though, because I think there's no better hero for what OCs likes to play at the moment than Mirage. I think maybe the idea here is that they're going to shift OCs onto the Mina and therefore deny the Mina from Abrahams. So Abrahams, they still go for the page. As a result, you can come in and you can still play the Mirage potentially for Leviathan, but I do think that this has to be a play more along the line of removing Mina from Abrahams, or at least that's what Leviathan would like to do.
I was thinking in the second ban phase, if it gets really weird and they just ban all the Mouse 1 heroes, but then Sinclair gets banned, and that is quite unexpected as a second ban for this game here, Jason.
I was wondering what you're doing with your hands because I didn't hear a 6 or 7 mentioned. I think the Sinclair
I'm too
ban
old.
might be we're the same age. You're literally like a month older than me, I think. Not even a month. You're like a day older than me or something, right? You're like
I'm much
really close.
older. Much older.
No, you're younger than me. I don't remember. Anyways, I think the
Much
Sinclair
younger.
ban might be okay. It might be a setup for like a Graves potential pick because Sinclair is one of Graves' biggest counter. So I don't know if we're actually gonna have it. And we talked about Mina being maybe taken away. Well, they still grab the Mina.
Yeah, and they picked it earlier this time too, because I think if we could read the draft and go, okay, if you're not going for the Mirage, maybe you want OCs to play Mina. Abrahams could view the same thing. It says, yeah, we'll just move Mina a little bit higher up in the priority, which, you know, if you're Leviathan, now you could pick Mirage last pick for OCs. I don't think Abrahams is at all interested in picking up a Mirage, where if Sanya's not going to play it, I don't really think they want other people to play it. Like, yeah, Dimov could play it, but I think Dimov's more interested in playing the Apollo. And also in that note, I don't think Leviathan is about to take Apollo away. So Abrahams, they can basically run the exact same thing.
The Drifter again,
Minus
Jason,
Paradox.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, scared for what? I'm about to have an early night
Scared
here on the
for
show. We're about to get out of here real quick. Yeah. So
How you doing,
I mean,
NA?
no, we got Puckett back for NA, which is going to be cool to see. And ZP will be there as well with Jake. And Jake, if you guys didn't know, is actually observing for us in EU. So he's been catching the action for us. So if there's any positive or negatives, you can hit him up on Twitter. But yeah, so with Apollo being banned away, we see Task going for Bebop because Paradox was taken from him. I'm expecting a Mirage to be.
What?
Okay, there's no way. This is serious. That's.
Is this
we having fun
Dimov? Wait, is this Dimov 7?
It must be, surely.
Okay, I'm drawing a blank
I
the
love
last
it.
time if we've even ever seen Dimov play 7. Because normally in the Buff and Joyers era, 7 was Zergy jail. Like if there was a 7 being played, it was Zergy. I don't know how deep you can go into the stats, Jason, but have we even seen Dimov play 7 ever? I don't think we have.
Okay, let me check.
Freeze
I
frame.
don't think he's ever played it. It's always going to be Zergy. But let me open my fancy Deadlock database.
Oh, Jason's Deadlock
Hero
database.
picks.
Brought to you by the Night Shift. Shift.
Dimov, he has played no 7.
All right.
No 7.
Okay.
He has played Viscous 18 times. He's played Holiday 18 times. He's played Lady Guys 13 times. He's played Paradox 11 times. Shiv 15 times. Yamato 11 times. This does not include the last 2 weeks of Night Shift, though. I have not updated my database.
I mean, I believe Abrahams and Dimov and all the boys. I believe in this draft. I like 7 personally. I know he has fallen off at this level, but
Oh yeah.
Isn't Dimov
Also,
going to play Mina and then Sanyo will play 7?
well, maybe a switch.
Also, somehow we got so distracted in this draft, or at least I got so distracted, we didn't really acknowledge the Apollo ban. So yeah, you couldn't go Apollo this time around. But also, it says a lot that Apollo was so annoying to Leviathan. They're like, yeah, actually, we don't want to deal with that anymore.
Good tunes. Good music. Really enjoying
You've been
this. No, I'm just. Who's stunned like ZP?
Both. It's like,
No,
I
I was
was
expecting
talking
Jason to
before.
talk. Like it was Jason's turn to talk at that point. To
Thing
be
is,
clear.
I actually love 7.
so do I.
When they made some changes, I played a little bit of ball 7. I was kind of like, it's
Love
really
the
dependent on
balls.
comps. You gotta love the balls. I mean, you throw them out left and right. They're massive. They do a lot of damage. Sometimes they shoot blanks. Sometimes they don't. Depends on what kind of
Sometimes
things you've
they
had
get
done to you.
damaged.
Yeah, I like dogs stepping on them. But when it comes to 7, I didn't really like ball build because it's very dependent on a good comp and finding its very specific areas. But I like this kind of hybrid build that I've was playing not too long ago. I think it was by ABL. It's a bit of like your 3, your power surge, and it's a bit of like your ultimate. And you just rip through people. I mean, the original 7 was about power surge, right? It was about just moving extremely fast before they took hits to the spirit power, giving a movement speed. And then you become a Ferrari 7. But yeah, I think it's just really strong. The problem is it takes a while to get your 3 investment spikes on him. And you're really playing for the late game. And I don't know if, we'll get to the late game if Song is on Mina, or whoever's on Mina has the same performance in this last match.
I will say this to kind of back up the idea of 7 maybe undervalued is I think last time I talked with Lightbringer on this, which was a little while back, I think Lightbringer had thoughts and something along the lines of this hero is disgusting and really good. People should be playing it more. It was, I believe, the take. So there's a world where 7 has just been undervalued, and we'll see how Abrahams makes the most of it here. Also, in terms of hero pool stuff, it might not be Dmov on the 7. Like, obviously, you can change things around. You could put Hoot on the 7 instead. If they were playing the exact same heroes that they were doing in the last game, it would be Dmov on it. But, the upside about Abraham is that they do have flexibility, right, in terms of who is playing what. So we'll see if it just ends up being a Dmov Shiv game instead.
That is true. That is fair. We have subs coming in as well.
I mean, yeah. So let me just quickly look through.
Sure.
Because I have Sonya Sniper. I want to say it's going to be Sonya Sniper on 7. And I think it's going to be Dmov Flex for the Mina, because Dmov has played Mina before.
Yeah.
Albeit 2 times. Sonya Sniper, he has played 1 7 game and they lost.
Okay. How long ago was that?
That I cannot tell you from my database, but it probably was before Abraham's.
Yeah, that's probably a long time ago.
It's a database without dates, which almost seems against the
not
plan.
on that lookup queue. It doesn't have that information. I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't even get to use this thing, so I don't even know why I keep it updated and use it. But Golden Nut subscribed with Prime. Remember, yeah, kind of. Remember, guys, if you have Prime, you can go check and give us a free subscription to the channel to help support us continue to bring Deadlock Night Shift to you every single week. We appreciate any support we get from you guys. And if you don't have Prime, it's okay. As long as you're here and you have your ad blocker off, we still love you.
And we're on a hype train, so let's get those going. As you've mentioned before, if 1,200 subs is hit, you'll release that Abrams skin. I mean, a little far off, but
If we hit a new hype train milestone, Clarus, what will you do for the stream?
Right, well, there'll be no shaving of the eyebrows like you're thinking in your head, because that was a Max Man thing.
Wasn't thinking that.
No, you're a liar.
I have one that I want to see you do.
What?
Shave the beard off.
My wife would kill me.
What would you rather do, eyebrows or beard?
Well, technically beard, because that actually grows. It takes ages to grow your eyebrows back. You know this, right? It's like 6 months. Like, it's bad. Like, it's not good. So that's not happening.
I have to go back like 10 years to see without a beard, I think.
Yeah, and nobody wants that. So,
well,
my wife definitely wouldn't. So.
My wife. Well, we're heading to game though, Kalaris. Any predictions? You ask us about predictions. How do you feel like this series is going to go?
I believe Abrahams, even with the 7, is still going to win this. I think that eventually, even if they do fall behind, I think that they will still somehow, some way, give him enough room to be able to farm up strong and then be able to ride this to a 2-0. But let's see how it goes. I could be mistaken, as ZP and Jason are going to bring it to you.
It almost sounds a little bit violent there, and we're about to bring it, Jason.
Sorry
of some regards, but however, I decide to help Leviathan here because karma sometimes goes against me, and I put 5,000 channel points on Abrahams to win. So what is stronger, the silver curse or the curse of my bets being bad within the channel point sphere?
I don't want to test that one because it's either way you're going to lose, right? But you did call it. Dmov is going to be on the 7, so it is going to be him on probably my favorite hero in the game. And I'm curious to see what build he's going to go for. Take stun right off the bat here, so they can have some early game pressure because 7's going to be, pretty weak, but that stun is pretty deadly. Just point and click. No aiming whatsoever when it comes to it.
Yeah, in terms of lane,
actually a good rem counter because your ultimate gets rem out of Tagalong.
I don't know if I'd use the word counter in regards to it, but I think...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. In terms of thinking about the lane setup that they have here, I think, Mina is, oddly scary to lane against just because when you get locked in place by stack charge, if Mina is actually in a spot to take advantage of it, the burst damage, stacks up to a point that you are probably just dead. I think a Rem Billy lane in general is pretty strong in terms of its push and ability to keep Billy up, so I would still say Leviathan has the edge in that lane, but there's a lot of ways if you misplay around stack charge that you can actually lose the lane pretty quickly too.
It's also gonna be weird to see Dmov kind of being gifted farm or intentionally going for farm, because again, 7 just for me doesn't really come online until you do have your try investment across the board. But I want to keep it on his build because you know what, I mean, I love me some 7. I kind of really want to get back into playing him, and you know, maybe I'll use the DMod build going forward. But also seeing TAS, there's always been like this battle of who's the best Bebop in EU, and I feel like we talk about this every time. But there was originally, it was like Hoot, Demov, TAS, and Overseas. And I don't know if we ever came to a conclusion of who each of us thinks. For me, it was Overseas.
Oh, what about a mugging? Normally it's a guy with the knife that's mugging people in alleys, but not so much there, as Together gets parried and just gets absolutely blasted from all ends, Jason.
Oh, no.
Oh, what in the world from Hoots? The damage off the jump pad into the charge as Sai is just getting the ever-living crap chunked out of him. Saint coming in for the kill at the very end.
You don't want to see Hoot have a strong start on Abrams again. Not to mention Sonya potentially get an early kill here over onto the Geist. Primox low, Osis is dead. Not a strong start here for Leviathan, and Abrahams once again just continue that momentum from the first map.
I mean, the one upside when you look at the right-hand side is that Hoot stayed at low HP, maybe you just get dove, but things are still heating up in the mid lane as TAS, all right, gets taken down by Leviathan coming back into the lane. And also, I would be looking closely at right lane here, because I think with Hoot being lower, there is an opportunity that you can get a little bit aggressive, especially with a Drifter Silver lane, which in theory, especially once Lycan curses up, I mean, that's a lane that can absolutely dive if you feel like you have an advantage.
I think also though Page is kind of a decent counter to that, no? I mean, obviously there's a lot of mobility when it comes to Silver, but if you get like one captivating read on them because they have to get in very close proximity of you, it's kind of generally easy to hit those. But I mean, either way, it's healed back up with resto shots, so it's not like he's gonna be low for long.
Yeah, I mean, the window of opportunity is faded. Like Hoot went back to lane at less than a quarter, but a few waves of creeps and resto shot more than enough. But once more, heavy damage here onto Together. Together getting hit once more from all ends. Hook towards the very end, peeling off a little bit of the pressure, but it's not enough. Together ends up finding the OCs. So while this happens, though, off in the side lane, Hoot once more finds Fremok.
Yeah, this is not a good start considering they had Paige Abrams last game and they dominated their lane, and they're doing it once again. And unfortunately, it's going to be Silver, the one to pay the price here. Oh my god, just when you think you're out, you get pulled right back in. And OCs, he does have Soul Exchange. You have to be careful to chase this one. Does get it off and does get the swap over onto TAS. TAS falls to Rake, who comes in from the side. Actually, a great turnaround on Leviathan here. Bait them in a little bit too deep. And Abrahams are going to lose 2 in mid.
When was the last time you saw Together die 3 times early in the game? Nap time here for Sanya. See if there's much of a fall through. Right now, Sanya is actually getting beaten up quite heavily. Chain Gang in towards the back. How many escapes do you have as Mina? Because you're just about out of them. However, Demoff, Stormcloud in from the top. Not enough to provide cover for Sanya, and also won't result in a kill either. So they play around the Stormcloud, get the kill in the Mina. Use a lot for it, but can't argue with the results.
You're not gonna lie, Stormcloud's kind of garbage until you level it up, especially if you get like Mystic Expansion for the extra reach onto it, but you just really lack the damage. It's more of like a zoning tool and a deterrent than an actual damage dealer. They also picked up Suppressor early on to deal with the auto attack, with the M1 in their lane. Not to mention a lot of other heroes. So this one, a great hook once again here out of TAS, making me rethink my pick on Overseas, but he does fall. And honestly, Abrahams, they're giving away a lot of deaths that maybe they shouldn't here, giving Leviathan that chance, maybe taking their foot off the gas.
I love how you see a hook that's mechanically impressive, but then you stop and think is like, but wait, did you actually want to hook here? Still, slice and dice as OCs is looking absolutely low. No swap off cooldown this time around, but also not something that Together felt good about chasing down, especially 3 deaths in the recent rearview mirror. Swap, though, in from Rayek. Lower HP, getting hit by melees, and they happily go through the wall to finish that one.
This is looking like a lot like some of the games I see where you just constantly fight and burger box it nonstop. Who, in the meantime, by the way, is on a kill streak. 5.6 thousand souls. Close quarters, heal bane, resto shot, extra regen. You're not going to move this big blue man out of the lane anymore. And Fremok is just being punished time and time again. Another charge to the wall. Size low. Here comes Fremok from the side. But this, I don't think he has the damage. to kill him. That's especially with the support of Page. It's not really going to happen. Freemock gets the
Freemock.
parry, though, and this might have been enough.
Freemock, the absolute savior, both with the kick to displace Hoot just enough into the parry. And that was a burst of life that Leviathan really needed in this right-hand lane, as correctly you note, Jason, Hoot was getting way, way far ahead. But Freemock, right play at the right time to get Leviathan back into it on the right.
Sorry, charge going off. And lockdown Irizumi here, but again, it's not really on the aggression. Not like they're trying to look for a fight necessarily, though Sonya, he's looking for a fight. He was pushed up by himself. And together again, dive it in. This is in the enemy territory. He has Killing Blow up. There's gonna be no soul exchange, so realistically, there is a world he could pick off this kill, but again, a great Connect Carbine comes in from Rake here to stop the retreat. Oh no, Tass is going in once again. They just want to fight constantly here in mid.
Yeah, I mean, you use the term burger boxing. I think it's what everyone was thinking about. It's actually a little bit more calmed down now relative to where it was a bit ago. Now note, OCs and Rake both at half, where, anytime you're up against Shiv, you're very well aware of the Shiv penalty of going, well, you drop below 25%, it's over. So you have to give it a reasonable amount of space, but with Shiv himself, not the greatest HP, it's where you could ask for a bit of help as just Rem Thievery, Jason.
I don't think you want to fall behind as a Shiv here. Like, I mean, obviously you don't want to fall behind on any hero, but I think especially you don't want to fall behind on a Shiv. And I think it's like Tass keeps hitting these great hooks. So you want to fight, you want to capitalize on it. And honestly, if you were in, what is happening to OC's portrait? It is freaking out right now. But if this was a different world where they were actually ahead, the snowball would be ridiculous out of this lane. Soul exchange is going to be up, so you're not really going to confirm this into a kill, though. The guy's going to fall extremely low. One more blade. Oh, never mind. The blade's been nerfed. It's not going to kill him.
Rake is down, so there's no actual help coming for OCs here, and we'll see. There's no killing blow up either, though. Wait, goes over, gets the swap. He has his own health and now turns on to get together, who absolutely does not want to be in range. Mina, though, in off the rotation. Not enough to save together, but is enough to punish OCs at the end. We'll see if Sandy's able to get away, though. It's nap time underneath the middle bridge, and Rem perhaps going for more. Bebop, the one under assault now. One pillow already hit, slowing Hex over, and that's enough to take down Bebop before it's all said and done.
And Sonya, I mean, this is just the burger box lane, man. Everyone comes here is fighting constantly. And I don't really know which way it's gonna go. It's a slight lead for Leviathan right now by 2K, but I mean, Hoot's at 7.1. At least Freemock's been able to close this gap here at 7K as he goes for the dive on the Saint.
Taking a look at the right-hand side, Lycan Curse popped, but no targets immediately in sight. 5 seconds, and the buffs are going to be out. Leviathan well-positioned for the right-hand buffs, and Abraham's going for the left. And anytime you see a Shiv setting up for buffs, you just wonder, is Shiv going to get Vitality? We don't know what buff he got, because the minimap icon overlays it, but we'll take a look next time we get a look at him.
We also had a donation of $15. And saying this name is just going to hurt my soul, but I'll do anything for money. Twippers. What's your favorite pillow? I like my memory foam pillow from IKEA.
Honestly, most reasonable donation message we've had in a long time. I was expecting the turn, but Dimov letting the lightning fly. Creating a little bit more space for the team, and together, after blood, into the Veil, looking for overseas. One dash, enough to deal with it. Still a few knives in reserve moving forward for Rake, who quickly needs to leave. Hoot, meanwhile, looking for a charge and just gets so aggressive into the parry. Ends up being a lot of HP as attacks for it, and yet, still, backed up by the Page. A winnable fight. That punch somehow goes through Freemock, who's ready to let the wolf out.
Oh, here we go, Freemock. Can you realistically go for the dive here? Probably not, when there's going to be Tass off to the side as well on the Bebop, and yet they seem to go for it here under the guard and get immobilized with the captivating read. Hoot is just trying to survive with the help of the Hyper Beam, doing some really good damage here, and Hoot just does not seem to fall here. A great support out of Tass just to keep them away. It's now Saints being dove in on, and he just can't quite connect the shots. A knockdown as well. Freemock is frustrated that he can't close into any of these kills. In the meantime, Hoot gets a kill on the side. How are they surviving this dive?
Another parry comes in, this time at Freemock's expense, and yeah, it is actually unreal that Saint survived that. I think Freemock just whiffed on the slam fire. Like, the slam fire got hit, the shots went out, but Page's HP didn't move as the hyper line together comes in from the side, cuts down overseas. A brutal catch as Abraham's now starts to get a little bit of clearance in the game.
It's just so weird to see Together and Task being shut down so early on. Why are we seeing this? Demov with melee charge on a 7. I guess it's just for jungle farm instead of going cultist? But he does have cultist, so
Honestly, I don't know, Jason. I feel like it could be one of those moments where you're sitting here is like, look at the commentary, try and figure out the melee charge 7. And I mean, there could be reasoning or it could be me. We'll see. Meanwhile, doubles getting defended by Leviathan. Abraham's, their advantage is there, but not so big that they can just freely take doubles without an immediate punishment. And this is a big rotation. 3 people on teleporter here, Jason. Leviathan's still looking to cook.
Go and shop.
They're trying to get a big gank on this right-hand side. Last time they did this, though, they got punished quite heavily. And I think they're going to know it's coming, too, because I think Saint has spotted out multiple players on the right-hand lane. Meantime, Together, he's still trying to push the left-hand side. Demov there as well. Actually able to save Page for a little bit of time here. The dive's going to come in with the chain gang as well. And Task, he just has to turn tail and run if golems have him.
Lux Nostra in over the top from Sanya right now, trying to make the most of this chaotic jungle fight. 500 HP though, and running out of escapes. Second charge of Sanguine used. Still low HP. Demov trying to make some space off the Storm Cloud as Leviathan still managed to pick up 2. And you take a look at Sai right now, not deterred at all by the Walker. Looking for a little bit more damage here onto Tass. And Tass living for now, but nope. Stalker's Mark into the back, teleport and dead. Knockdown onto Sai and Page. Conjuring a dragon, and okay, the damage from Page is actually real.
And Hoot's also going for a push onto Overseas, gets the kill onto him. That was, I believe, Sai's first stack too on his 3, only at +5 at the moment. So he's really not going to have a chance to snowball into this game at 12,000 souls. I mean, at least he's keeping up in souls, but Hoot is still the big blue wall now at 15k. Hoot having, I mean, amazing back-to-back matches on this Abrams so far. And I don't know, man, this has been a hard game to like analyze, a hard game to read, because it's just been so hectic, constant fighting left or right.
Ooh.
Criminal to escape that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the underrated abilities of Rem, where you usually tag along to save other people, but also pretty good at saving yourself because you just go untargetable as you go to hop on someone. Also, wait, Hoot's still on the prowl. Phantom Strike off cooldown, though. Is now playing around the wall. Nap time. Do you have the damage to actually deal with Hoot, who's so far in the game? Well, you've brought 3 people. The answer is yes. You do have the damage. As Hoot wondering, wait, where did this go all wrong? Wait, Seismic Slam. Off. Still has enough HP. Charge. The Hoot grand escape, perhaps, underway, and they guess wrong as to where Hoot went.
Well, they still kill Saint. I mean, at least they will get their blood from that chase and that push and that investment on killing Hoot. I mean, to be fair, I don't think Hoot would have escaped that without the help and distraction of Saint. And Together still looking for a fight up against Geister. Osis is at 17,000 souls, been quietly farming away here. He's quite far ahead of his team, but he's pretty much doing his job right now.
Well, Leviathan is in control of the urn, and should they turn it in, they're going to get ahead of the game. And as I look at it, I don't know if Abrahams is going to be able to get here the really contested time. Leviathan has good presence around the urn turn in. And okay, they take a teleporter, they're heading on over. Are they going to be able to control enough space here to stop the just simple dunk for coming in from overseas? And the answer is no.
They get the captivating read, but there's no follow-up from that one. Hoot's being left to farm up on the right-hand side. Demav's rotating in to counter a play, as I think they're going to go for a fight on this one. A stack charge could easily open things up. And yet they do slightly back off from this one. Going to just teleport out of this fight. Maybe look for a catch onto Hoot, who's all by himself.
Also, Irizumi, I think in the tunnels right now, so safer than you'd expect in this situation. You look at the map and go, Rem is dead. It's like, no, he's in the tunnels. He's totally fine. Unless he was in the tunnels, in which case he'd be dead. But up on top, Hoot right now, a bit under the gun.
He just styled on getting away from that kinetic carbine. I don't know if you noticed, he did a down dash.
Yep.
To escape the shot. I mean, obviously that was one thing that was changed. I mean, not too long ago. Instead of it taking a full stem, it takes a half stem. So we're seeing a lot more pros actually do that. Oh
no, Together once more the target. been a tough game for Together. It's about to get even rougher as the Wolf comes out. And Together down once more. Knocks Nostra not in time for the save and just kind of tickles Free Mock in wolf form, who goes in for another bite, this time directly on the Taz, just rip it apart from the side, but gets parried. Now lower HP, electrocuted from multiple angles, tries to boot kick way out, back on in, slam fire, turn onto Taz. Not enough to live, but maybe enough to set up Rayek for the kill, which he does finish on.
To say, how does he actually escape that one? He will fall though. Let me. Oh, I'm trying to say his name in my head before I say it out loud. Lemmy Deason says ban Silver with another $5 donation into the prize pool. Again, thank you so much. Every donation goes directly into the prize pool. We do not touch a cent of it. It goes directly to the players participating that week. So anything you donate makes them much happier. In this game, it's weird, ZP, because it's been a very weird match. I don't think it's necessarily Leviathan playing well. I think it's more so Abraham's not playing well.
I don't know if it's even into the playing well or not playing well element. I guess the question is whose responsibility is to withdraw from these fights, because it's been a bit of a burgery game, for lack of a better term. It's been a lot of back and forth fights where neither side has declined to stop fighting effectively. And it has worked out for Leviathan. So is Leviathan wrong to be taking those fights? Maybe not. Is Abraham's wrong? But nap time once more, where I feel like 80% of the nap times end up on Sanya. But is the fall through going to be there? And I don't think so, Jason. It just, you use nap time on Sanya and you just leave as Sanya enjoys a refreshing nap.
Is it normal to see Express Shot picked up for Silver?
Yes. Well, it depends on who you ask. Listic hates Express Shot on the hero, and I think the first Lightbringer builds focused on Express Shot. And there was data suggesting that Express Shot actually did a lot of damage on Silver and was really worthwhile. But it's one of those things where if you're not used to playing with it, it actually feels really bad to play with. Like, there's a learning curve to using Express Shot on Silver. But the math behind it, I think, is actually legitimate.
It helps you build ult quicker too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know if I've seen one so far today, but I haven't been looking as closely over towards the Silver builds. We do have Sonny going for a split push here at 21,000 souls on the left-hand side, up against Free Mock. There's gonna be a rotation coming in from behind, but honestly, like, Sonny might be able to get this walker if there's really any chance of any response on the opposing team. You just see him just bouncing away. He gets a hyper line onto Free Mock here and takes the walker down, and he gets the escape.
Well,
Question mark?
Well, you get the double sanguine up to verticality, and chasing Mina is always a pain. And yeah, no, the one thing that could have done it there was a swap, but it doesn't come in from afar. Right side of the map, though, is where things are going down. Sai on the chase down, Page ult out, swap on the Hoots. Hoots still at reasonable HP. Seismic Slam looking for the escape, and the jump pad stun onto the Geist as Sai goes down on the top. And now as OCs get away, I mean, OCs took a chunk of damage, lost momentum off the jump pad, and not able to get away. So the jump pad stun, absolutely vital to take him down. And that's a long death timer, Jason, for 20 minutes.
44 seconds. That's crazy, man. That is so long. That makes it even weaker for you to go for an urn. You have Unstoppable and a Lightning Scroll. Well, Lightning Scroll picked up, Unstoppable queued next with the debuff reducer here for Demob. So trying to bait in a knockdown or something or prevent it from being effective. He does have max ultimate too. So I guess the melee charge is, Colors is talking about on Discord, it seems like it is used to take the tier 3 camp since he didn't go in towards his power surge or his ball. He's going straight for that ult investment.
Well, even down to player, Leviathan's just able to dunk in the urn, which is a little surprising. It looked like Abraham's for a moment was considering just sending mid. We saw Demob just look down there, but team-wise, there people more on the same page. And, a bit of a chase down now on the right-hand side. It's Sai, perhaps in danger, Together and Sanya directly following, but no, they don't commit. So a little bit of a weird last minute here as Leviathan gets the urn even down players at the beginning.
Let's take out
Yeah.
Geist.
I don't know. It feels so odd to see the way the game has been played out. Like mid lane was just utter burger box. Right lane was just hoot domination. And now we're seeing like Together just go for some of these dives that just don't really make sense. At least when it comes to paper. I'm not gonna knock them too hard, but I feel like because they're already up a map, they're feeling very confident to go for plays like that.
Once more, looking for Saint. First carbine into wall, into just everyone pummeling Saint. But also, speaking of together, I mean, it makes sense given how much he died in the early game, but I have to think back to think of the last time I saw him this poor on Shiv, where the only person he's out farming on Abraham's is Paige. You probably should be ahead of the Bebop as a Shiv at this point in the game.
It's not an achievement I want to wear with pride. I have more farm than a Paige, but no one else who gets a parry off, but it does get slammed into the wall and finished off. And Abraham's down 2 players, and Leviathan with the man advantage. The big fight here would actually open up a mid-boss take for them, and together just gets completely caught out. And Connect Carbine at a rig. I'm not sure if that was even intended for him. And that's 2 more members of Abraham's to fall.
I mean, he peeked his head out for one moment mid-air, and Rake took it directly off. And look, as far as the game goes here, definitive advantage now for Leviathan. Are they going to use this to go mid? It certainly looks to be on the menu. Not a lot of tools for Abrahams to actually contest mid here either. Saint nearly goes down. It would have been a huge pickoff. Instead, Saint may live to actually drop the horses in just a moment.
Demon's got max ult, and he has Unstoppable, I'm assuming, at this point.
Yeah, he does. He had it queued up
to go for.
Well, we'll see. Unstoppable is here. Gets hit by the carbine at the beginning. Unstoppable popped into Stormcloud. Demov bringing the lightning on top of the rejuve. No charges here. Yes, Hoot lands a massive charge combo. 4 down. Hoot brings the pain that Demov sets up. Only 1 rejuve charge Leviathan, but it is pandemonium, and Abrahams instantly turned the course of the game.
Production, I'm gonna need a replay of that, please, when you have a moment. Because we kind of just talked about it. He goes for ult investment, goes for Unstoppable, brings the lightning in more ways than one, and then who comes in with a triple charge and takes 2 rejuves? Leviathan, you had everything going your way here, and one small mistake, just like we saw Low-Key W. They made a mistake over towards mid-boss, and Leviathan were able to capitalize. Now Abraham's do the exact same thing against them.
I will clarify a little bit. I don't know if you could say small mistake there. That's more like ultimate, massive, ridiculous mistake. And like, it's one thing to get hit by the storm cloud, but for Hoot to come in there and just have that level of play, that is absurd. Tessa may be giving up one of these rejuve charges here in a moment. The drifter auto damage just a bit too much.
Is there any backup? Demov's there. Together's come in as well, so he's just buying time. A good nap time's gonna come through, catches on to 2, and that actually might be the turnaround they need to take away these rejuve charges. Only 1 left to go. I'm not sure if Shiv's the target you want to go for this one, but they're going to take anything they could possibly get. Together's just being manhandled here. If anything, you want to be the one to die now to get the reset in, and it's going to be Hoot to fall, and he's going to respawn back in. 29,000 souls and ultimate ready to go, and Leviathan have to be careful.
He's down again. I think Fremont got a decent amount off the Lycan Curse, and also Rake just able to get away at the lowest of margins here. So, okay, as much as Abraham's got themselves back into the game where they were down and potentially facing being down a ton at mid-boss, this is not over, Jason.
Oh, here we go. Oh my god. He gets even Connect Carbine there too. Pops Unstoppable. And look at this. The lightning cloud onto like everyone, and the huge charge out of Hoot.
Jason, you know who actually made this happen? Remember when Saint got away at 2 HP? Like right before mid-boss started? The horses coming in from Saint is what enabled Hoot to come in and get this done. I'm pretty sure. Because wait for it.
We've seen Hoot's point of view. Wait.
Yeah. Yeah, the horses had already come in at that point.
He'll get a big W in chat for production. Not only showing us the replay, but showing the replay from Hoot's point of view as well. Damn. That was dirty.
Well, speaking of dirty, down and dirty is Fremont here on the silver. Another kill being brought up, and you know, that is one thing, at least on paper, as the urn turning goes away with Leviathan here. Silver kind of likes the matchup against Shiv in theory. Like, if you can get wolf form out and actually fight a Shiv, it's one of the, you know, only heroes in the game where Shiv is actually just, no, I don't want to fight you. Like, bloodletting is strong, but it's not that strong.
Hoot's in trouble. Oh my god, how is he not dead? Another unstoppable storm cloud comes in though. It buys some time to actually help Hoot escape. Gets the CC off that they desperately needed to stay alive in this fight. Yes, also he's going for superior duration. His ultimate lasts so long, and not to mention escalated exposure after that. Demov is going to be a beast in these fights if you fight around him in the Storm Cloud. But still, even with that steal on Rejuve, Abrahams haven't built up a lead. Is actually Leviathan able to extend it up to 10K?
Yeah, I mean, some of these plays and neutral engagements have been quite bad for Abrahams, and a lot of them have come from the fact that Fremont has been in the right place at the right time. Also, Sai, I think, Sai's ability to start some of these fights on the Drifter, the impact of Eternal Night for the setup, I think you don't necessarily want to underrate either. So the Leviathan frontline, it's actually looked pretty good in this game so far, Jason, but hang on. Right now. Perhaps thinking about engage, but as I say that together, maybe the one caught the Stalker's mark already went down and is just an absolute pummeling onto together. Gets caught for what feels like the 7th or 8th time this game.
Bro, these slowing hexes have to be so annoying for Abrahams, and credit to Leviathan to pick up so many. I think they're sitting on 2, maybe 3 of them, making it very difficult for Hoot to escape, for Together to escape, even Sonya's sniper. They're trying to use that as a way to control and get these picks. I mean, because Abraham's, like, individually, their movement is ridiculous. If you can control that, it makes it very tough, as Hoot has Phantom Strike, Echo Shard once again.
Also, I wasn't wrong when saying like 7 or 8 times, because you look at the Together death count, 9 deaths on Shiv. That is a rarity, and I think it just goes to show how if you get something like a Shiv, a bad early game, it can really follow you the rest of the game. I mean, it was the laning phase that went badly for Together, and ever since then, I mean, Leviathan has made ganking Together a really core part of their strategy. Hoot, meanwhile, gets hit with the carbine, but it is Paradox, it is Silver, and this is not a fight you want to be in as Abrams. And as mentioned, a lot of slowing hexes out. Rallying charge in to try and buy a little bit of time. Seismic slam 2 feet from the ground, but the Wolf is out once more, and Hoot is carved to pieces, and Fremont looking for a little bit more as the Wolf fades.
I mean, Leviathan, they're just roaming around as a group here with like 2 or 3 slowing hexes plus the amount of CC they have in their ultimates. They're picking apart Abrahams, but the thing is, they're also investing, what, Chain Gang, Lycan Curse, I won't count, Eternal Darkness, Nap Time, like 3 big ultimates used to get 1 kill. That's not the ideal situation, but it's still something you're going to take and you're going to be happy with because you're continuing to extend this lead further. I think for Abrahams, they just keep getting caught out, and it keeps allowing Leviathan to build up this lead even further and continue to, I guess, punish them and not let them feel safe. I mean, who you saw, the second he saw an enemy, he immediately went for the shoulder charge away, got slowing
Jason.
CP,
Together's also at 21K in this instance. Like, they don't have a front line when Hoot is dead. Like, Together is not a frontliner anymore. He is support Shiv, is what I'm seeing in this instance. So I think, like, an overextension ultimates to kill Hoot, I actually think it still works.
Well, I guess it depends on time frame, right? Because if we're 20 more seconds in, they have all those ultimates back up, so they can just do it another time. I think if in the situation you're describing, Together and Co need to look for a fight now, so they don't need that front line. But as you can see there, Together immediately again has to turn tail and run. You realize he cannot fight against this because they constantly swarming over the map, catching them out by 1.
He can't play Shiv the way Shiv would normally be played at 30 minutes because of how this game's progressed. Hoot, though, finding Rayek, putting him in the corner, and then some. And yet, Rayek, still alive, lands a swap, gets help from this team, and Hoot, who thought he had the surefire kill, instead gets pummeled and turned the front line down again. Both Saint and Hoot out of the fight. Sanya does pick up Rayek towards the end, but it's cold comfort for how the rest of the fight has been going here so far. Demov up in the air with Stormcloud, but most of Leviathan just able to back away and deal damage from afar.
He created a lot of space, but that space wasn't capitalized on. Leviathan get themselves 4 kills. Mid boss is up as well. I mean, okay, it was a great steal by Abrahams last time, but come on, let's be honest. Is it going to happen again? I mean, Overseas is low. Fremock's about half HP, but I just don't think you can even go for this anymore here. Leviathan, I'm not even going to say Abrahams is just messing up. I think Leviathan just played extremely well now. Again, like, they're coordinating their ganks. They're grouping and catching out Abrahams time and time again. I think this is just them playing extremely well. I have to, like, reverse my thought and my statements from before about Abrahams.
I think they've gotten enormous value out of Rem this game also. Like, part of the way that Fremont has been able to get some of these kills is that a lot of them are preceded by nap time. Like, nap time comes out, it gives Fremont plenty of time to get really good positioning. And now, Jason, that insult to injury, they're going to go for max duration here on the Rejuve as Overseas just hangs out, gives them an extra, 30 think that was like 30 or 40 seconds, something along those lines. Actually pretty important for the rejuve timer.
And they get earn 2, up over 25, approaching 30k here with this earn turn in. I do wonder though, because you have to start thinking about late game, right? You were talking before that since Leviathan did have a late game carry with Mirage, the longer the game goes, the more chance they can take that first map. Well, now going into this one, it's kind of the opposite note, right? I mean, yeah, you do have OCs on Geist, but I would still rate 7 a better late game hyper carrier than a Geist would be. Especially if he keeps getting more and more farm. He's at 37k. A great hook comes in. It's stopped by the truck though.
Do you want
they can take this fight.
Do you want to hook in silver at this point? Like, I feel like that's what this is. Like, it's like you go fishing and you hook something too big for your line. I don't think that's ideal. And you kind of see that from Abraham's, where it wasn't, hey, jump on Freemock. It was, oh God, we hooked in the feral wolf girl. Like, please leave. Everyone leave.
Take her back. Take her back. We don't want her.
Throw her back into the water. It's like, no, she wants to stay on the boat.
Return to sender. I mean, it seriously has felt like Leviathan had just been grouped the last 10 minutes.
Headed to Broadway.
And I think you kind of can do that because you don't have to worry about your waves crashing when you have little helpers out of Rem by Irizumi. You kind of create lane pressure indirectly, which allows you to group as a 6-man squad and catch off Abraham's time and time again.
The problem for Abraham's now too is that their win conditions are so incredibly narrow, and again, it's just the way the game is played out. You know, normally Together puts on good games, but a 23k Shiv is not a real hero at this point in the game, when the lowest on Leviathan is 33k. Like, you don't exist. Like, you don't get to play the game as that hero anymore.
He still has value in the fact that he has max killing blow, no? I mean, I get what you mean because he's still, like, low economy, but he still has value in his ultimate and the reset mechanic of it.
The problem is that, like, Shiv normally, even if you're just average farm, is taking a lot of space in fights, and then as you're taking space, you're in the perfect position to execute Killing Blow. When you're as poor as Together is right now, if you even sniff the front line, a wolf or a goat is taking your face right off, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, Together's ability to just do normal Shiv things is so curtailed in this game that it puts too much pressure on those that can be in the front line, and by those I mean Hoot, which is why Hoot's been getting blown up first in a lot of these fights now.
Yeah, Hoot's also has kind of stopped his farm too. They do get to sleep onto him and on Asanya, probably the two of the worst players you could lose here. Knockdown comes in to keep Rayek away, who does have his paradoxical swap, gets charged back in towards the shrine by Hoot, looking for an escape. They do keep everyone alive. They do force out, honestly, 3 big ultimates. There's a good chance Abrahams could turn this around here. Rejuve's still up for another 50 seconds of time, though. And there's the Stormwell coming in with the lightning scrolls. You see all the counter spells coming out as well. And this is all on Abrahams now to win this fight.
I mean, you can't accuse D-Mob of not getting value off the Storm Cloud. It forces a retreat from Leviathan. It burns out 2 Rejuves. You get a hook in towards the very end. And can Abrahams actually convert some kills? They take down Psy. Killing Blow plus Sanya. And Leviathan, who wanted to get more, who went into that fight with 3 Rejuves, they get repelled, Jason, and surely we're not about to see yet another Abraham's comeback, are we?
I don't think you can ever count them out with how dominant they've been in EU. I mean, Earn right now would be perfect. It's going to be a comeback Earn for them if they can secure it. And you can see them immediately head towards that direction. And I think Leviathan might turn this into a kill, actually. Paradoxical swap is up and a knockdown. And Hoot's actually getting behind the team. This actually could be a huge fight because both teams are circling in towards the back lines.
Nap time out from Irizumi. Hoot, though, looking for Rayek. Charge, punch, gone. The combo there. This is why so many fighting game players are getting the deadlock. Stuff like that. Knocks Nostra in over the top as Hoot picks up the Urn. Abrahams down 2, same as Leviathan, but Urn control to Abrahams. As I'd love to get the comeback Urn, get back in the game. Hoot, though, can't escape. Caught by OCs on the back end. And that means Urn control is going to revert over the Leviathan, who, you know, certainly don't want comeback Urn souls to go the way of Abraham's.
OCs is putting out some work, man. 49,000 souls. Look how fast he's shooting. And the thing is, like, who can get a pick like that onto Rayek, but I don't think he can realistically do it to OCs, Overseas, or Freemock. There's very limited people he can kill with this combo now. With how he was at 35k the last time he died. And he's still at 35k. He's not been able to continue to farm away. And look at all these little helpers on the left-hand lane. And mid boss is spawning in 30 seconds time. And guess what? Abraham's still not going to have the big blue man.
Fremok, a little bit deep, looking for the shrine, having the dodge hyper beam pressure while using the shrine itself for cover. Doesn't really eat too much damage and all of that, so now full super creeps going to be in effect for Leviathan as they likely go back. But okay, hook in on the Fremok. Do you want the fight? Is the question. Lycan Curse not activated here just yet, and Fremok down the half HP. It'd be massive if they could get Fremok, but I just don't think the fall through is going to be there.
And they're still chasing. They know mid boss spawned in, so they have to be careful of this. I think this would be the perfect opportunity for them to get a kill as well. Hood's back at base, so they have to respect that. Can't really chase too far. As you can see, Drift on the minimap on the left-hand side looking for a potential engage, and I think both teams just backing off. Another nap time comes through, a great counter spell as well. That's one big ultimate nullified. As you mentioned before, one of the ways Leviathan have been able to open up these kills.
Instead, they look for Demov, and okay, unstoppable or not, Demov just gets instantly annihilated. It was so heinous that we couldn't even put it on camera. It was behind the statue, Jason. We just saw Demov disappear.
OCs has so much damage right now, and he's going for inhibitor next. But watch how quickly he kills this mid boss. It's, well, if he's in the pit, it's disgusting. They're trying to go for the contest actually, and then trying to catch him out. Oh, he's actually trying to buy. That's kind of risky to do, considering we can see Abrahams are going for the contest now.
Hey, look, protect mid boss or continue the shop. Your call. But Sai, looking very comfortable here in the tunnel here so far. Walks up on task, lays the left clicks in, and they're not done yet. Down in the secret shop, more kills yet to be had. The pillow thrown into the teleporter before Saint can fully get away. And 3 down for Abrahams. Leviathan get to leisurely head in for what should be a game-winning rejuvenator. And Jason, I know why this happened. You want to use game analysis for this, but the reality is that I put 5,000 channel points in Abrahams to win this map.
That's true.
It was me. It was all me.
You're the problem. It's you. In the wise words of Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, I called it out, and I said which curse was stronger, my channel point betting curse or silver. We got our answer.
Well, while it was happening, Sonya was able to shove the mid lane. I don't remember if there was a walker there. I was too focused on mid boss. It's at 46k. Demon's at 50, but I don't know. OC's just on a whole nother level when it comes to damage. And with these 3 rejuves up, oh yeah, you cannot afford to die here if you're Sonya. You got to be careful about this one. I mean, also, to be fair, so does OC's. He's pretty much all by himself, shoved up in the mid lane. Finally, the reinforcement is going to be here. It's not like he has anything to buy either. Only at 2.5 thousand souls.
Well, Jason, I think we're at the point now where if Abrahams manage to come back now, where they're down just about 70,000 souls and 3 rejuve charges, it may be the best comeback they've ever had, and they had to come back from down 70k in the trolley tournament versus Gooballs. I don't think it's happening this time around, Jason. I cannot see the win condition where it's at, again, in part because you look at the heroes you would expect to have a big impact, particularly a Shiv in the late game. Together is at 28,000, and the lowest person, not the highest, mind you, but the lowest person on Leviathan is at 45k. Doesn't seem particularly likely at this point.
Is it just me? Have we been having really long matches today?
We have.
I'm just thinking to myself, is this becoming a new norm, or is this just because of hesitation out of teams to finish?
Okay, to be fair, if you're against Abrahams, you'd probably want to be really secure about things too. Is okay, OC gets the treatment and then some. The hook into the fall through, into the Nox Nostra right on after. Now note, OC still has the swap up and available. Doesn't need to use it here, and instead the cavalry has arrived in on the fall through. The curse beckons, and here comes Fremok up into the corner, ready to lay down a little bit of pain here on the silver. And it would be our first win in a while if Leviathan is able to finish this one out.
I mean, you're not really doing that much damage here. That's Fremok. He's at least keeping him back. Okay, well, he does a lot of damage to Paige, but that's fair. It's Paige. She's 27,000 souls. That's gonna be the next shrine, and well, not the shrine. It's gonna be the first stage patron falling, and with only 4 players left for Abrahams to defend against 6 and 2 reju charges left, we're gonna have another Stormcloud up. He's gonna buy some time with the help of Infuser and Unstoppable, but he gets cursed out of it. Instant lightning scroll is going to get some stuns in, but they can just walk all over them here. So with one rejuve left, and yeah, I think we're going to game 3 here. Leviathan bouncing back massively here in match 2.
Abraham's showing they can bleed. It was a bit of a wacky game at the beginning. It had a lot of action. Some people are calling it burger boxing, but when it came down to it, Leviathan roamed around the map with ease and made the silver work along with Rem.
There you have it. After the 2 weeks of Abraham somehow being able to make the comeback happen in game number 2, now they have finally let it slip. Was the 7 too much? What was too much here, Jason, from Abraham's as Leviathan? Just as I think actually you identified it pretty well. Leviathan was just playing a really good game for a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, going down to the beginning of the burger box mid lane that netted Leviathan kill after kill. I mean, it was Tassin together constantly looking for the fight and then losing the fight, even though Hoot was dominating his lane. But then it came down to the late mid game, early late game. I hate saying that; it makes me feel disgusting. Of them just grouping constantly for Leviathan, the double slowing hexes, the amount of ultimates. They threw everything they had to into those single or 2-man catches. And then every time they did that, they would get more ground around the map, they get more jungle, more farm, and they would slowly build up this lead.
I think we'll probably see a return to normality, maybe for Abrahams when it comes to the draft here, ZP. What's your take on the game?
Yeah, I mean, okay, there's 2 things. One, I think for as good as Shiv is as a hero, if you have an early game as bad as Together has, it will haunt you for the remainder of the game. And in this case, it very clearly did. Yeah. The second part is that even if you think 7 is meta and undervalued, why is Demov playing it? Demov as a player does wonders for Abrahams by being able to play on the knife's edge to get really deep in and make miracle plays. And you put him on a hero whose number 1 play in the late game is to hit unstoppable and turn into a storm cloud on top of the map. I'm sorry. I think you could put, even if you're going to play the 7, you could put Demov on something higher impact than the 7. But I'm also not convinced that they thought it was their absolute best play. I think Abrahams is testing what else can work for them. In this case, it was probably a fail.
Definitely an on-the-edge build, as we were talking about the melee charge and all this stuff. Personally, again, I think that it must, for my money, it has to be something around the tier 3 camps and then being able to kind of skill for the ult and try and make it work. But it just fell off later, especially when curses are coming out, Jason, as well. Like, unfortunately for him, he's not really going to be able to get much done. I mean, Hoot was playing a blinder of a game, and we even had that amazing steal towards what was going on towards that mid-boss charge, but still not enough here for Abrahams.
Yeah, okay. If you're Abrahams here and your mid lane doesn't feed that much, I think you just walk over them. No, I feel like you just destroy them. I think it's because Together fell so far behind, because Task fell so far behind, but more importantly, how OC's got so far ahead. It was really difficult to deal with. I mean, yeah, this is the steal we were talking about before. I mean, he eventually stagnated in farm because he kept dying, because he kept getting caught out. And I think, all in all, you can't take away from Leviathan and the victory they had. You can't just say, oh, it was because mid lane was feeding on the enemy side. I think they did a great job of using what their comp was meant for, of getting these catches in the jungle. The funny thing was, that's the Abraham style. That's the OG Abrahams, where they would look for these catches in jungle constantly. This is what gave them the rise in EU to take down buff enjoyers consistently, to be the #1 team in EU.
ZP?
Yeah, I think as I look at this here too, the other thing that enabled Leviathan over the course of the game is that we're talking a little bit about the parts where Abrahams fell short, but where Leviathan also did well. So many of these big plays got set up by nap time. I feel like the trend of the game was Leviathan was roaming with Irazumi, Freemok, +1, usually Rayake, and you hear nap time come out, and it's immediately followed by someone on Abrahams going down. Most often it was Together, other times it was Sanya or Hoot as you got into the later game, where you think about the tempo of the game. I think Hoot got picked off something like 2 or 3 times in a row, and every time it was just nap time into a full gank squad. So the coordination of using Rem as basically the bringer of death worked out really well for Leviathan, and Abraham's never really got a moment in the latter part of the game to take a breather and go, okay, let's fight as a full team, because someone was always on cooldown.
Yeah, if Rem's with the rest of the team, be able to get sleep on someone, it's very oppressive. Whereas the follow-up damage is going to be brutal. Let's take a look at the numbers, though, here, Jason, and see what's going to be going on. OC's doing a lot for the team as a whole, but Fremont, finally, we do get a silver victory here in Europe.
Yeah, so silver stocks on the rise here, ZP, to the moon. Honestly, I actually don't know where I wager where the victory came from. I think ZP said, like, for instance, Irizumi with the nap time was a really key factor. I think OC's wasn't really that impactful in like the early to mid game. I think when he got basically all his items online, he could single-handedly kill DMOB within his ultimate. I think it actually worked against DMOB's favor to go in towards the ult build when OC's ended up getting that farm. I think the standard power surge kind of like left click build, when it might have been a little bit better than investing fully into this. I mean, even had refresher at the very end.
Yeah.
But yeah, OC's, I mean, he put on a ton of damage. So did Fremont as well. And I think that Fremont, Sai, Overseas, Arizumi, and Rake just did a great job of working together, where OC's could continue to farm while the rest of his team is getting kills.
It really is for a Demo of just one button. Infuser, Refresher, Lightning Scroll, just hoping it alongside Unstoppable as well, ZP. It's hoping it's going to do something and didn't really do enough.
No, not quite. Also, I think in terms of draft, if you think back, the draft at the beginning was basically the same as game one, right? The one change that came in that was rather big for Leviathan is I decide, okay, we're going to come in and we're going to grab the Paradox. Like, we decided to grab the Paradox early. I think a lot of their plays and a lot of, how they were able to set up some of these kills probably don't even happen as cleanly if they have something like a holiday there, because a lot of it was dependent on a wall being dropped immediately after nap time. So there's an entire, logic to these combos going on. And I think the shift up to actually grab Paradox earlier in the draft was really, really smart.
Well, on Port, TAS, and Together not getting too much done through that laning position. I mean, I understand why you want to be aggressive with that kind of duo, right, Jason? You got the hooks, you got Shiv following it up. You want to be in people's face, but hey, Leviathan can hang with it.
If I'm in a game like that, my mid lane's feeding, I'm on comms raging. That's all I can say. Oh, sorry, not on comms raging, but I'm raging. You can guarantee that.
Oh, you weren't the mid lane in those games. You're not the one.
No, I'm saying if I was in a game with a mid lane like that and I was playing like a different lane, I would be raging quite hard.
Okay, all right, fair.
I would just be screaming, bruh.
Oh no, not with the.
Was that all a setup to say that? Unbelievable.
Maybe it might have been. It might have been. We had other tips coming in as well from $5 from Awesome Rem Facts. The length of a dream can vary. They can last for a few seconds or approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Even longer if you invest in Duration Extender. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have a good night's sleep, just buy Duration Extender. What do you think about that, Jason?
Is that dream time or real world time? Because as we learned from Inception, it could have been there for like years technically.
Maybe. I can't remember much of Inception. I'm going to be honest, it's a long time ago since I watched it. What do you think about that?
We've gone into the Inception memes now, of all things. You know what that means? We need to accept into a break. That was a ridiculously long game, and who knows? Abrahams could be at risk here tonight.
They could be. They could be. All right. Well, we'll join us after this break. We have finally got another potential loss on the way for Abrahams. They've dropped another map in the last 14 series after the 2 that they dropped in those 14 series. So join us right after this to see if they can be defeated. Despite Abraham's best efforts to try and bring themselves back into that game with the mid-boss attack, as well as trying to stall out the game towards the end, it was not successful. We move on to a game 3 as Leviathan tries to upset the balance here in Europe. Jason and ZP joining me. Jason, can Leviathan do it?
Yes, they can do it. It's possible. It's not very likely, but it's possible. They've shown that Abrahams can bleed, but they've only bled once in 14 weeks, and they don't intend to bleed again. It's like 2 a.m. here in Europe. Give me a break. Come on, ZP, save it.
ZP, it's not there. Save us.
I don't think they will. I know they might.
The real question is that who am I going to put the channel points on? Because I think I was the X factor in the last game. But no, I mean, look, overall, I think if you're Abrahams, there's a few things you could do in the draft to make things a lot easier for you in the next game. Number one is probably do something to deny Rem, either pick him yourself or ban him, because that was part of why everything kind of fell into place. I mean, yes, the silver looks good, but the silver looks good because of the setup you got from both the Rem and the Paradox. Number two is, look, you wanted to give 7 a try, that's fine. Maybe leave the 7 at home. Like, put Dmov on something that's a little bit more in Dmov's camp than trying to do the 7. It was a little bit off meta for what they like to run. You had fun with it. You had a game to lose. That's fine. You lost the game. You can't lose the next one. So play it a little bit more standard.
Definitely not what we're going to get for the bans here to start things off. Obviously, Leviathan has been taking Celeste away from Abrahams. Obviously, they don't need to ban it if they want it to start things off. So let's see what they go for. You were saying the silver ban potentially before.
No.
I'm biding my time.
Still
They just
better.
don't
They
play.
banned him first, even though they could have taken him first.
Well, if you're Leviathan, you probably ban Celeste here. I mean, they're banning Celeste's first pick, let alone a second pick. They don't want to deal with the Celeste, and she's banned again. But if you're Abrahams, what do you prio as first pick? I kind of feel like they still go with the Shiv on first pick, but we'll see. I don't know if they're gonna. It is an interesting wrinkle though, because they've been second pick before, and this time around, they actually do have to commit on a first pick strategy. And okay, they just want silver.
Boy. Okay. So either it wins and the win rate goes up, ZP, or Abrahams loses and we have night shift history.
What are we standing around for?
Ish.
Either way,
Let's start
we win.
breaking shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's going well.
Please tell me they're gonna take Shiv away though. Don't let them get Shiv again.
Billy Shiv has to be a thing, surely.
I don't know who's gonna play Shiv on Leviathan. That's the thing.
It feels bad either way though here, Jason, because now let's say you go with Shiv, you still give up Hoot Abrams for sure, and it's gonna be Hoot on Abrams +1. I actually think you're Abrahams, given how Leviathan was able to assemble Voltron with both the Paradox and the Rem. I mean, you don't have to worry about the silver this time around, but I actually would like to see Abrams Paradox here. I think that's a really solid way to round things up for Abrahams and take away things that worked for Leviathan in the last game.
I don't like this idea of an abomination of a animal Voltron that's like the silver on one arm, the Rem on the other arm. Yeah! I hate that.
Rem would be the head, right?
Billy would be the head, right? Like, he's got the two. Never mind.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But we do see Shiv picked up here for Leviathan. Okay, so they ended up going for it. And we get the Paradox as the final pick from Abrahams here. I'm kind of... Well, sorry, we had the Shiv picked up in the first round. Yeah, I don't know. I think like Abraham's is a really hard team to ban out and to counter pick, but they're definitely trying for it. Taking away Sonic Sniper's Mina, picking away together Shiv.
I don't think they liked playing with that Apollo in the first game. I think they want to do that again.
I think you do anything that increase the odds of Dmov being on 7. You liked Dmov being on 7. You know Dmov liked Apollo. You remove the Apollo. Now, there's a lot of other things Dmov can play, but in this case, he's not going to go to the Apollo again. For Abrahams, okay, first pick coming out of this is going to be for Leviathan. I would love to see the Rem ban here. I still think you don't want to deal with the Rem. It gave you fits in the last game, and instead, okay, they banned the Drifter, which, okay, Psy actually looked good on the Drifter. It's not indefensible, but I do think Leviathan in turn probably pick up the Rem here.
I think it's a little hard currently to like observe the true constant effect of Eternal Night, right? Like, 'cause it can just be a plague, and it's affecting so many potential targets. Hey, hello.
What? Why so early? Even if you're going to pick it, why do you pick it at this point in the draft? That is radical. I
don't think it was going to get contested, eh?
No.
A little do you know, D-Mob was like, you know what? This feels like a Haze game to me. and they also still let Rem go through by taking Page. So, I mean, I guess like Haze acts as the setup, the sleep dagger instead of the nap time, and it's on a much quicker cooldown if they want to continue to go towards that. But yeah, I don't know.
You're under my protection now.
I still think you would pick Rem into this for Leviathan.
Mirage comes out from Abrahams, where, by the way, like Dmov has played Mirage somewhat in recent history, so that actually, although I think it's more likely to be the Sanya hero here. I think last pick for Abrahams is probably going to be the Dmov hero. But, okay. Mo, I mean, it makes sense. Haze, Mo, and Krill It's more of a proximity ganking strategy. You've played both of them together in various comps from various different teams. Like,
feels old school.
Mo is a natural partner of the Haze. I wasn't expecting it this game though, for sure.
Let's
was
get
I.
the show on the road, shall we?
And then Calico? They've gone wild. This is fantastic. They've gone feral.
What part of the Voltron would
The
Ava be
Voltron.
now? That's what I'm curious about.
Just the small foot at the bottom. Oh, it's the full animal combos. We're getting the owls extra. Oh, Grey Talon got through. We forgot about that because that was banned in the previous games.
So that's what Demov on Silver together on Abrams, and Hoot's gonna be picking up the Great Talon.
Holy moly.
Most likely, yeah. Oh, also, Demov can play GT. Like, there's a world where, like, Demov can play GT. Yeah, they have flexibility on who's playing what. But, yeah, on paper, the Abrahams draft, I would say is, like, 9 million% better. I don't love where... The back end of the Leviathan draft is, like, guys.
Bonkers.
Like, what are we doing here?
I don't know. Maybe they're onto something. I mean, if Abrahams chose this, would you be as critical, CP?
Yes.
Damn right.
I just
you
saw them
would.
pick
So
7
would
and
I.
lose.
I just wanted to test you there.
It's like, what are you talking about?
That was a bait, and you didn't fall for it. Good man. I mean, that's high mobility, guaranteed lockdown, a lot of control. I mean, high damage. It's I think in theory not a bad comp necessarily. How it's going to play out is going to be an entirely different story. I look at the Great Town as the last pick, and I mean, sleep. I don't know. If you can create the space, it's going to be hard to deal with Hoop, but at the same time, you have to dodge a sleep dagger, you have to dodge a combo with a warp zone, you have to dodge like a Calico, a Billy. Like, there's so many things that could go wrong as a Great Town in this game.
I think the thing about GT that's a little bit uncomfortable here is that if everything is going right for Leviathan, they have a comp that is literally run at you in all ways, even in setting up ganks. Like, you have Haze running at you looking for Dagger, which is going to lead into a Mo and Krill combo. Calico's entire thing is diving at you. Mina is often very divey. Billy Shiv, like the entire thing, like Leviathan could not pick a more hold W composition. The problem is, they have to work around Abrams charge. They have to work around Silver, who goes wolf form, and suddenly you just don't want to deal with her for a long period of time. You're going to have to deal with page shields. You're going to have to deal with GT stuff. Like, Abraham's comp is pretty resilient to getting dived.
Well, game 3 on the way. I was trying to remember where Hayes was recently. I was low-key W going up against Abrahams in the final from the previous week. But it was not successful for all intents and purposes. So let's see if Leviathan can make it work. It's a wild one, and there's go up against the Titan of Europe as Jason and CP will bring it.
It is Demov on Great Town, so who will be, I guess, actually, I don't know if he's on Silver or if he's on Abrams this game.
It's got to be Abrams. I think, wait, no, it's together on Abrams.
It's Silver.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, it's one thing that's gonna stand out to me is Fremont gonna be as impactful as together on Shiv in game one, not game 2, guys. Don't worry. In game 1, like, does he have that potential to pop off like a Taylor? Can his team play around him to a similar stance as well?
I actually think
make
yes.
the Shiv even stronger.
I rate Fremock's Shiv pretty highly. Like, I think Fremock went through a period where he was almost a together-esque Shiv one trick in what he ended up playing. And he looked good. Like, Fremock has super clean movement on Shiv. There's not a lot to... What's going on, chat, guys?
Look at what Saint said.
I saw the 6-7. I didn't see what it came before it, but...
Nothing's got to come before 6-7. All you need is 6-7. Go on, sorry.
Look, bottom line, I think as far as Shiv quality goes, I think Fremock is pretty competitive with some of the best Shivs in the game. Saint, though, OC's died super early. That must have been a charge from together. No other way that happens.
It's not cool. It's not on cooldown though. I think that was a captivating read. No.
I guess so. That,
yeah. I don't know.
It may have been
just got a straight up kill.
Yeah. There's also an observer bug where sometimes it's on cooldown when it's not, but you charge up again pretty early there. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, whatever lane Saint has been in this entire series has dominated. In both games, him and Hoot together have just done serious work. Now him and together are doing some serious work in that lane as well.
The interesting thing about this for me when I look at the lanes is that Leviathan, they're running a comp, Jason, they really cannot get behind. Like, the thing about running a comp where you're running Mo, Krill, Haze, and you're running at people to secure kills, that only works when the game is even or you're ahead. If you fall behind, you actually lose the power to secure a lot of those kills. Like, it is a comp that is legitimately awful if you have to play from behind. So the early laning phase is of absolute paramount importance for Leviathan, way more than the norm, because they just can't afford to get significantly behind in this game.
Man, I don't know how this one's gonna play out. I want to like even look at the prediction. Someone posted in our on our DLNS Discord, which you guys can check out by typing !Discord and join. There was someone in Patron General. Here we go. They won 74,000 channel points and 611,000 in total were given out to 70 people. That's some generational wealth there. Let's be honest. There's 70 people who voted for Leviathan and 132 for Abraham's.
I donated 5,000 channel points to that. That's all I know. So I helped distribute the generational wealth on that
You're
one.
so kind.
Yeah. I mean, look, I just figured my curse was stronger, but man, for Leviathan, this is a game where, I'm just, again, trying to think about the way they win this game. And it just has to be a very high tempo kicked off from the beginning of the game, Jason. And anything less probably sees Abraham's win this rather easily.
I mean, is Leviathan used to playing with high tempo and being successful? Because obviously, the more high tempo you play, the more room for mistakes you make, and that's something that's going to worry me. Together, they get another kill this time on Tyrezumi, and Saint's just trying to protect him here. Look at this regen as well with the Infernal Resilience. I mean, it's keeping him healthy enough. You guys watch out for the rake or just OCs to take him down. And Saint's not able to. Oh my god! He's gonna get the kill too, bro. Chill. Is this Carrie Page?
Look, I'm going to go for the Doa circa 2018 flashback and say that's a bloodthirsty support right there, Jason. It may not be Zenyatta, but, the theme stays on.
Do it. We got a $50 donation to the prize pool from Flexin Hard. Hype for any matches tonight. Thanks to Night Show's team and the players. Well, you know what? Thank you, Flexin, for the donation. I think all the players appreciate it. Yeah, this is another game. This is 3 games in a row that the Abrams and the Page lane has just dominated. And that's kind of worrying. It seems like every combo Leviathan throw at it, they just cannot contest it.
I mean, it's just a very difficult lane to deal with. You're talking about if you get hit by a Page 3 at any point, you're probably dead. If you get hit by an Abrams charge at any point, you're probably dead because the skills combo into each other so well. And then on top of it, Abrams, who already is like very survivable in lane, could push that to unbelievable levels just because of the shielding from Page. It is a lane that is abundant with synergy, and a Mo and Krill Mina lane, yeah, you don't have a ton to deal with it, but maybe you have enough to burst down Saint. Wait, you have the haze coming on in, and there's no way to call the cavalry when you just get slept and taken down. I'm not even sure there's sleep there. I think they may have been just a melee out of stealth.
No, that was, yeah, I heard the sleep dagger.
Okay, you did
coming
sleep,
through.
okay.
But I mean, this is the rotations you expect to happen. I would have thought you'd have them happen earlier on. Normally around like the 2-minute mark, you would see these rotations, but when you're in mid, you got to call for those misses. And I mean, that's Rake making impact when they need it in that lane, because that lane could easily overwhelm you as the game progresses further, especially if they continue to get kills and keep OCs behind on the Mina. And Together's not going for the chase, trying to disrupt some box running.
There's the moment.
And Rezumi already half HP. The shield charges up, trying to get him with the bull. Are they just gonna get this kill?
It's looking like it. I mean, you got Rake in here with the bullet dance, dancing back and around the time wall. Actually, enough to take down Paradox, so pretty reasonable approach here from Rake to lighten up some of the pressure. Rezumi got away, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of HP, but he definitely got back to base here. Now OC's 3.9. I mean, he's equal with Together, which is kind of crazy considering how many times he's died. It's only Saint who's the one ahead at 4.7k. The carry Page leading the lobby with the most souls. Didn't think I'd ever be saying that, ZP.
Just Page and lane things, especially when you have an Abrams backing it up. But also, I mean, it slows down what would otherwise be a Mina snowball. Also, I mean, if Mo happens to get ahead in lane, Mo can be greedier on proximity ganks. So, you know, it's dual purpose. Not only is your Abrams getting ahead, but you're slowing down some of the threats that would otherwise give Leviathan a quick tempo in the game. Also, silver build wise, you see this a lot nowadays where people just hard rush Life Strike.
Yeah, Drifter did it last game. Sai. Extra sustainability, extra damage. especially towards that blue investment too. Or sorry, blue investment. Where the hell did I get blue from? The green investment is Freemock's going to get the kill onto Sonya with the dive on through. Is he going to be saving points for maxing killing blows? Gets swapped back in through the time wall and continue to go on the chase here. Especially with Irazumi in the vicinity to look for, well, a combo that is up and ready to go. And I think this is where Leviathan really succeeded before. Getting these catches, getting these kills, grouping up. It's just happening like, what, 20, 30 minutes earlier than it did last game.
I mean, they rotate a lot to middle, but the response is pretty substantial from Abrahams in turn. Abrahams decides, hey, we're not going to lose a burger boxing in middle step again, but they're also quick to disengage and, you know, not necessarily drag out what was a very, very long mid fight last time around.
Rotations coming in. Sai going to be... Wait. Is Sai not level his ultimate? Okay, just got it. I was a little bit weird. I was like wondering. He's like 3.5. I'm like, why haven't you leveled ultimate, bro?
Borrowed time.
Actually going to be going for some quick stacks into it too. I haven't been watching any of the boxer. I'm not sure if you've been noticing it here, ZP, but I'm not sure how active and proactive Sai's been, more importantly, of just trying to take as much of these boxes away as possible with Ava.
I feel like people on Calico don't make box running the priority it used to be back in the day, but combo in on the Saint, maybe one way to deal with it, but no, swap comes on in, enough to free up Saint, drops the captivating read right on after. There's Rumi, goes down for the attempt, so even when you think Saint is dead to rights, just a little bit too far ahead and gets freed up by Tass.
You don't just kill a high value lobby leading page. It just doesn't happen. It was actually a great swap out of Tass to just kind of separate overseas from that kill. A great turnaround. Hoot had fallen in this fight though, and we did see it. Like I feel like it's almost our first bird of the game coming out of debuff here, as Saint's gonna make his presence in the right hand side again, kind of getting down that scrappy point of the match here between the two. Feels a little bit disjointed, a little bit disorganized, but as we're getting close to that 10-minute mark, you're sure as hell know we're gonna see some action around the third.
Looking here at the right hand lane, more rotations may be underway. Instead, off in middle, Leviathan putting 3 into mid. And this is where we're at the stage of the game right now where it's really on Rayek to make plays happen on Hayes. It's right before first earn, first buffs, and until about 17, 18 minutes where Hayes can really have a disproportionate impact on the game, roaming around, setting up kills with sleep daggers. So I mean, see where this one goes.
Into where they got so much success before, ZP, right? Like that's literally how they won this last game. So you can kind of understand why they drafted towards this way, but the window of execution to make this work is quite different. It's much earlier in the game where those mistakes that you could be making, Abrahams can completely capitalize on.
That was scary, Jason. As someone that's on double all day, I just had a internet lag spike, and I'm back. I don't think I really left for any period of time, but
no, not at all.
Yeah. Didn't miss too much though. Right now, take a look. Irazumi looking for something here in the jungle, playing a little bit of footsie with Paradox, who teleports out and away. Meanwhile, taking a look at doubles cam right now. Barrage on a bit of invade, looking for Freemock, and kind of a risky spot to be here, especially where the Mo is, who just walks on up, gets the combo. Wait, no way, tornado away here from Sanya. Sanya, we thought may have been dead, now working on the way out of what could be a sticky situation. Lands a lot on Jin's mark, and off the jump pad, Jason, actually okay.
Damn. So not only some great movement of Sonya to escape that one, but again, Saint giving that possibility with the ultimate coming through to save his life. And well, Saint's not going to be so lucky as he's going to go down from this one, but they have been able to pick up the urn and head it over towards his right hand side. You can see OC's popping. That knocks Nostra over, of course, onto Sonya Sniper to prevent any sort of escape and potentially get the kill because they know the urn is coming. OC just explodes, and they're going to lose Irazumi as well. This is the worst time to have that happen, when the urn is in the hands of their opponents.
Yeah, because you look at the map for Abrahams, not only are they going to get the urn, but it doesn't really look like they're giving anything up for that. The most presence Leviathan has on the map right now is on left, and left is well defended between both Sanya and Together. So, all in all, pretty big macro loss for Leviathan. And maybe getting worse here as Hoot looking to get active. Not chasing it down, but bring Calico down to half HP.
This is looking more like the Abrahams we expected, right? Slowing Hex into bullet dance. Some good damage. I mean, they're gonna have the kill for sure with overseas coming from the side, but this is looking like the Abrahams that we kind of expected to map to. They're spotting a 5k lead and making some good macro decisions. Though I gotta give credit. I mean, Rayek, yeah, activity around the map is is pretty strong so far. I think the only problem is that Saint has been so good with his ultimates. The rallying cry, rallying charge, whatever the hell it's called.
Well,
I'm still learning the ability. There's just so many. It's preventing the combo from being actually turned into kills.
I got a bigger problem here, and is that it has been a long time since we've seen Calico be a worthwhile pick. And I'm not sure this is going to be the game. Sai's been getting just crunched all game long. Still, Chen Gang here, out on together, and he hasn't lost any HP. The charge doesn't quite hit. Irizumi in on the combo, looking for Saint. Finally, Saint goes down. Bird, though, in from afar. Demov looking to turn this into a winning fight together. Still looking hale and hearty right now. Still eating a lot of damage as this goes down. Sometimes even the invincible can fall, but really nice movement off the charge. Creates plenty of space for together as Demov still nipping on the outside.
Every time I see that shoulder charge cancel for the extra movement speed, the dash, like it makes me want to like learn how to do it, and then I realize I'm just absolute garbage at this game. Noxnostra being used to push Hoot away. You can see how low OC's is though, and Taz gets another kill. Taz on 11k and on a 4-kill streak as Demov chimes in with a kill over onto Rake as well. I think one thing we need to keep in mind, do you remember the last time we saw Rake play Haze?
It would be a little bit further back, but hang on.
It was a few weeks ago, actually. It's when he subbed in for Leviathan, I believe it was, and they played against Abrahams, and he had such a good challenger and finals match against Abrahams. We were wondering, like, why haven't they picked up Rake yet? He slotted in so well with the team.
And now they did pick him up, and now Empty Dreams is off the team. So they do end up making that change, but again, Sai's just wrong place, wrong time. I mean, God, you talk about a difference between Sai on Drifter, Sai on Calico, and I mean, Sai's kind of trying to play the Calico in the same way as playing Drifter, but the difference in output is tremendous, and Calico's another one of those heroes, Jason, that doesn't really do well when she's very far behind. You know, at most, she's a nuisance. It's just going to use Return the Shadow and, you know, do a very small amount of damage in turn.
I mean, I think, yeah, I for sure think you're right in that course. I think one thing that I do like about the Calico is you'll build into Arctic Blast, and when you dive in deep, you kind of like set your team up where you can like facilitate a good chain gang. If you just imagine you hit a chain gang on a 3-4 people and then you pop that down, you're gonna lock them down in place for more capitalization on that. So like you could facilitate kills, but I completely agree. Like what Sai's currently at is just not it.
The other problem is too the way this game has gone away. Bola connects Sai, looking a bit low in response. I mean, able to walk away, but when you go down to half HP like this, you don't love being on the map at low HP. You know, it creates problems, but also look at the economy of the game here. Rake goes for the bolt dance, interrupt by the rallying charge, courtesy of Saint. Fight that overall. Leviathan still okay to take. They grab Sanya, even at the cost of some resources.
Slow hacks, force not to dispel magic, gets swapped back in, silence once again. Knows he's proven to be difficult to deal with, but he still should be falling from this one. And they're doing such a good job of keeping him under control. He's only at 15,000 souls. I mean, he's been farming away, that is for sure. But they're not allowing him to do it freely and easily.
Also, the point I was building into is, remember, Leviathan needs to keep this game even or be ahead. And they're almost at the point here, Jason, where their comp isn't going to function anymore. Like, Rake isn't going to be able to walk up on people and Sleep Dagger and have good results happen in off a combo if Abrahams is up 15 to 20,000 souls. It just doesn't work anymore. And that's the real danger about the comp that Leviathan went on, is that their comeback potential is miserable, Jason. Like, already it's starting to get close to a point that they can't fight a lot of these fights.
I kind of feel like we're already approaching that point, because we're already getting out of, I mean, we're out of the early game, we're out of the early portions of the mid game, and Rake is still looking for these opportunities to be effective. And he hits the Sleep Dagger there, and they do have 3 players to deal with Hoot. But is Hoot gonna escape again? He has the backup of Saint. Like, Saint always seems to be in the perfect position every single time to prevent any kills to happen, but this might be one. So he gets knocked off the jump pad.
Forget what you did.
The penalty for getting jump pad, which is, you know, basically at the same little hyperline, just kind of painful together. Got parried there. Still pretty healthy. Abrams wise, and okay, it's just steam off from afar. Charge shot easily. Gonna finish off Irizumi. Earn control, or rather, earn turned in by Abrahams. The lead growing even more, and You know, he's got Abrams at the state here, Jason, where you get to walk forward and nothing's really phasing you. Especially not a Billy, who you parry for good measure. Ay, ay, ay.
And he's got shoulder charge up once again to deal with Freemock. If he can close the distance. Freemock actually heading back towards the walker. He's looking for Rake instead. Spots him out while Hayes is stealthed up, and I mean Hayes is going to escape, and I would imagine through the teleporter will go here for Freemock. But I mean the lead, it's growing, man. It's starting to get there. We're up to what, 13k now. We already saw Abraham's playing from behind in the last game, and they still kept it close and competitive until it was ultimately 70k in difference. But I mean, Irizumi and Rake, 12k, 11k souls, they're hard falling off. They've jumped off a cliff now in my eyes, EP.
And again, I think when I think about what this draft was good at relative to the draft in the last game, the difference between Psy on Drifter and Psy on Calico could not be more severe. Okay, point proven. Like, we're not even looking at. We get the camera offside for 2 seconds, and Psy just gets obliterated by Together. I think Psy is like 0-7 now. It has been a completely non-functional Calico game thus far.
Just disengaging here on the left-hand side where they go for a push on the right, leaving OCs alone to defend a walker. Again, the macro game is going back towards the way of Abrahams. They even get a catch, I think that was on Irizumi, or maybe it was Rake, over towards the Urn Turn-In. Goodbye. You're up against the wall for the power shot to come through.
You know, at 20k for Together right now, you think this is a little bit of a spite game? Because Together got mauled last game on Shiv. Like, Together never looked worse. Now, on Abrams, he's never looked better. Who, getting tickled by a Nox Nostra from behind, doesn't really care too much. Instead, takes a little bit of bite out of Billy. Wisely decides not to take the jump pad, avoiding the HP tax. Back in the silver form you go. OC's on the chase down once more, but I don't know if the same level of chase down is going to be there as Saint gets the long-range rescue beam to save things in the end.
Give Saint MVP. I don't care if they win or lose the series. Saint deserves it 100%, man. He's always in the right place, always at the right time. Having just ridiculous impact in the series, and Irizumi, you're just dead. Like, you're not going to do anything as a mole, and Rake gets charged up against the wall once again. Seismic impact connects, and Rake's going to fall. No parry anymore, and Abraham's just walking all over Leviathan.
This one, I'm not saying it's over, Jason, but it actually might be over. Where we're at is, oh god, for what may be the 8th time in the game, Psy just gets run over by the train that is Together. And wait, is this gonna be a 19-minute mid-boss? This is getting out of hand real fast.
What's saying? Are you gonna just like lull the mid-boss to sleep?
I mean, she's pulling some maces out of her book, you know?
We need a proper name for mid-boss.
Well, the mid-boss needs to not be a placeholder.
That's true. Maybe that's what we get in the next update. We get a mid-boss update. That'd be sick.
We're going back to my ideas here, and I feel like this one will land. I'm 50% of the day. People like Conductor Abrams.
Give this away. This is like you're like literally giving money away to people. Okay.
Yes, because technically it's like not an idea we could put in anyways because it was someone else's like concept. But you saw how Rat King got all that viral appeal. What if instead of Rat King being a hero, Mid-Boss is in the sewer? What if Mid-Boss becomes the Rat King and the Rat King becomes the Roshan of Deadlock?
Rat King's lair.
Yeah.
I like it. I think what I also want to see is the mid-boss have an ability. Like the shrines now have, like the patron now has. Maybe not curse, but like something. I feel like it's just too easy to take at the moment.
Well, if it's Rat King,
bird flying skills fight simulator here in Deadlock.
It's Rat King, you got an army. Also, Saint loses Rejuve Charge, Nox Nostra. More of a zoning, Nox Nostra at the very end. Okay, 2 Rejuve charges down. Leviathan being scrappy on it. Abraham's maybe overplaying their hand a little bit here, but they get the Urn Turn in all the same. The Pain Train, though, this time coming for it Together. 1 death off the Rejuve, not enough. Another bite taken by Leviathan, but they lose the Urn as this happens, and Abraham's still nursing a very considerable lead.
He's like, wait, did I just see a healing rate run by me? How did that happen? He turns and shoots Rake.
Headed to blue.
Rake's just like, I'm out, peace, ignore me. I mean, yeah, they gave up some rejuice here. They gave up a kill onto Together. They're still 26k ahead. And 26k is still a large margin, only 21 minutes in. And as you pointed out with Together being at, 25,000 souls or whatever now, I feel like he was at this level of souls like 20 minutes later in the last game, around like the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, together you're not wrong, by the way. Like, he was so broke on Shiv that this was him double length into the game. Instead, together has just been walking at people. And by walking at people, I mean at Sai, who's 0-10, where probably 8 of those deaths come from getting charged into a wall by together.
0-10 for Sai, by the way. I know you were interested to see his KD before. Having a rough game for sure. Oh, the Warpstone combo doesn't connect. They were trying to catch onto Hoot. I mean, they still have a lot of players going for the chase here. He's just trying to get the range for the combo. There you go.
Combo in. Is it enough? Well, you got through life 1. Do you have what it takes for life 2? You open with the bullet dance. Boot kick. In from Hoot. Now, the movement from Hoot, kind of unreal, but surely it's not enough to get away. However, it brought them into together, who gets instantly parried. Not the worst case scenario here from Leviathan.
Assassins over here.
Wait.
I mean, in the meantime, the right lane's being pushed. Like, they're looking for a walker here and leaving it on to OCs to defend against this. At least for the sake of Leviathan, they are pushing the left at the same time, getting a walker for themselves, but they're going to lose a walker for the troubles. But not a horrible turnaround for Leviathan. They get rid of all the reju charges, luckily. But they're still down a large chunk of souls. And how do you look at these picks? I mean, Rake and Irizumi just haven't had any impact. You're really putting a lot of your potential win over onto OCs right at the moment.
Sanya ducks into the veil, instant traveler. And wait, we're back here with Saint. Fighting Haze, Mo drops knockdown. But still, too much to deal with. And I think the interesting thing here, Jason, is that Abraham's been really split across the map and giving up a good amount of picks. Like, it's not enough to fully breach the gap, but Leviathan has done enough to stay in the game to an extent. And another combo comes out and heavy damage. This time in onto together. Is going to be enough, though. Seismic Slam up. It's still Abrams and tankiest around. Grabs Mina for the ride at the very end. Parry not going to be successful. Irizumi all sorts of low, and all the while together, still healthy. Lands the parry. Finally goes down the free mock, but is enough of a distraction that this is where Abraham's, they can bring out the wolf and really turn the fight potentially.
Who can't close the distance, though? He's got slowing bullets, but he can't get in range to hit them to slow them on down. Finally catches on the free mock. The sleep dagger comes through though out of Rake to buy him some time to potentially escape here, but he's still gonna fall either way. Task cleans this one up. Now the mid walker potentially at stake here for Leviathan. Oh man, they're just chasing him constantly. No one can escape here for Leviathan's side. But you make a very good point that Abrahams are kind of getting caught out again, like we did in the last, or we saw in the last game out of them.
Most of the pick potential, by the way, though, is come out of OCs. When you look at the farm in the game, OCs at 27k is threatening to anyone on Abraham. So a lot of it has been Irizumi grabs a combo or Rake, gets a sleep dagger into OCs on the punishment. If OCs is dead, Abraham's actually doesn't have much of a threat in the game. I mean, also you talk about poverty. An 18k Calico, a hero that actually needs to be average farm, is just like Sai is existing in this game.
It's not just him, right? It's Irizumi and Rake as well. It's 3 players on low eco, especially compared to their counterparts. Like, they're on very low eco, and this is if one of those 3 get caught out, they're dead. So they kind of have to stay grouped to facilitate and at least get those abilities off, get the combo, get the sleep dagger in, so you can turn into kills for OCs or overseas or free mock to guarantee something.
Headed to green.
Well, Abraham's now working with the urn, keeping control of it outside of Leviathan. And realistically for Leviathan, being down about 25k and fighting at your favorable urn turn-in is probably the best it's going to get. I mean, ideally, you'd really love to get a proximity pick off between Irizumi, OCs, and Rake before the urn gets close to turn. And that's what they're going for right now, Jason. The dive-in is coming in from Leviathan, looking for anything off proximity. Swapping dropped here by Tess in response to the pressure. And Sai, the first one to go down again. Quick pick off onto the Calico, and Abraham's turning the tide back the other way. Now chasing down Leviathan. Hoot get on in there. The wolf is out, and Hayes is down. Rake just immediately erased. Rallying charge, gonna hit the rest of Leviathan, and it's gonna be a full rout.
I mean, this is mid-boss coming up in, what, 15 seconds of time, too. So you're losing this fight at the worst opportunity for you. You're going to lose a mid-walker. You're going to lose mid-boss as well. And you're going to be down over 30,000 souls Abraham's finally just flipped the switch and said, you know what, we've had enough. It's late. It's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. for some of them. Let's just get this game done because they're going to run the earn while all this is happening at the same time.
Also, I know we were making the case for Saint as MVP. Dimov had his stint to 7, but he's also, I think, 13-0 this game after having a nearly perfect Apollo game on game 1. I think we actually have to give it to Dimov if this keeps up, because Dimov, it hasn't been as flashy, but the amount of damage he's pumped up as GT this game is probably obscene. Like, I'm pretty confident he has the highest damage by a wide margin in this game at the moment.
The rejuvenator is descending.
I mean, it's always an argument of who gets MVP when Abraham's win, honestly, because anyone could easily be in that position. I mean, even Tass has a ton of kills this game. Maybe not as impactful in game 2, though we did hit a lot of great hooks, but he's also had a lot of impact in this match. And now with Urn turned in, with mid boss taken, we're about to hit a 50k difference. That's insurmountable, ZP, right? Surely that's insurmountable. It's the best team in EU.
Yeah. Also, 0-12 Calico, by the way. But also beyond that, remember what we set up at the standards here is that saying Leviathan, for their comp to work, they needed to not fall behind. Well, Jason, I'm not the greatest mathematician, but yeah, I think it's safe to say they've fallen a bit behind in this game. So a lot of the ways that their comp would work, it doesn't work anymore so long as Abraham's stay vaguely together.
Yeah. I mean, and you see, even when they kind of don't stay vaguely together, they have a rallying charge. They have rescue. I don't know if they have rescue beam, but they have the bird. They have charge. They have so many other ways to get you out of the combo that you're trying to set up for Leviathan. I feel like if you're Leviathan, you just have to like commit to something. If you see someone alone, you just have to commit. Okay, we have to get this kill now. You can't really like second guess it because you're just gonna buy time for Abrahams to rotate on around.
Problem is, you're on the map for even a moment and you probably get together charging you. Or you're on the map for a moment and together just like suicides into wherever Psy is, because that just worked the entire game. Together. I'm gonna go up there with the Phantom Strike. And I mean, for Abrahams, they're just going for top control here, going for damage onto the shrine. They're not doing anything too wild, and they have 3 rejuves, so Leviathan, you're just kind of crunching numbers going, oh god, how do we even do enough damage to get them out of our base? And well, you start with a combo on Together, who immediately gets rescue beamed and doesn't quite care, Jason.
Yeah, starts to impact on in to punish the mole man who is trying to molest him at the shrine. Gets him down with 65 seconds on respawn. You're looking at both shrines. You're looking at this the phase 1 patron as well. And Dimov just sitting in the backline with all the free room to play. And at least, Freemark's fighting an area that Dimov can't really get involved in. But it doesn't matter when there's 4 other players of Abraham's there. Leviathan lose another. And what are these 4 remaining players going to do? I mean, maybe OCs has a chance to get a kill and get one of the retrue charges gone, especially on a Dimov here who's already low. But there's still that front line of Abraham's.
Oh, in Dimov's case, his rejuve already went down. Never mind. His streak is still on. It just gets a little bit weird when people get low HP. So no, he still has rejuve. And charge on the Psy. I'd say I haven't seen that before, but we've seen that probably about 10 other times in this game, Jason.
Well, probably 11 now. Yeah, he's gonna fall. Phase 1 patron. Surely gonna fall after OCs. Not sure what you're doing right there, but you can charge into your own patron. That's not ideal, as the Changing had gone out. At least get one of the rejuves gone now as well, but they still lose this first stage patron. They're still losing the fight thereafter. Task takes down Overseas. All the minions here to attack the patron, and I think that's going to be it here, ZP. I think Abrahams will once again defend their title here in the night shift.
And for Abrahams, they looked a little bit vulnerable, but man, oh man, did they turn game 3 into a statement. Leviathan blown out of the game pretty soon after the early mid game. A better draft from Abrahams, really smart play, and redemption for Together, who absolutely turned the tide after a tough Shiv game in game 2. But it is Abrahams. They are your winners of the money match here in Night Shift 27.
It's going to be back to the drawing board for that Leviathan draft, I feel. But yes, congratulations to Abrahams for the win after all is said and done. But hey, at least we got to a game 3 as I'm joined by Jason and ZP to break down this one. Jason, game 3 happened and game 3 was brutal.
Yeah, it's that's kind of how I expected the second map to go. And I think when you look at Abraham's, when they did go to 3 maps, it was kind of similar to that route where they were playing something a little bit off key, a little bit out of the ordinary. And yet it was still like a decently close game that they eventually did lose. I think Abraham's, I mean, as EP mentioned before, kind of experimenting, playing with 7 a little bit. I think they had intention of how they wanted to use it, but I think they weren't too fussed about losing the game. ZP, you're so smiley right now. I'm a little bit concerned.
No, I'm just like thinking about the state of the game and just how good together must feel like, where you just go from like the worst Shiv game ever to just actual server admin in this next game, where just like, I'm thinking about the highlight reel. It's about this is like, yeah, it's going to be a lot of Abrams or also Dmov, who's just like, you put me on 7 jail. Yeah, never do that again. As he just low-key has a monster game on the GT, but
I mean, the thing is that you should have sent Sai down to look for your Rat King, to be perfectly honest, into the tunnels and left him there, because that was like, he would have been better off farming the boxes down there, I think, ZP, than what was going on in his lanes, unfortunately.
It was a tough game. And look, I would love to see Calico return to prominence. I think when Calico is good, a super flashy hero to watch that has a lot of cool movement plays, but I feel like I'd have to go look at the stats. I'm not sure Calico has won in the last 2 months, or if it has, it's been like once, and it wasn't because of Calico being on the team. It just
careful. You're gonna like ego Ido into playing Calico later on in the NA portion to show you that Calico still works.
Well, good. If Melee Creeps wants to throw appease Ido's ego in that case, by all means have it. I don't know. I'm not believing in Calico right now.
You have to appease his ego at least once a week.
Look, here's how you know it's not going to be a thing. We all know about Ido's hero pool. He hasn't been playing Calico recently. Case closed. That's it. Ido's hero pool is the most reliable litmus test of top tier in all of Deadlock.
It's true.
I think our lovely producer Solomon did give you the information, ZP. If you want to check the last time Calico won.
Jeez.
Oh God. Okay, so it was back in Night Shift 19. Calico's been picked 5 times since then with no wins.
Brutal, to say the least. And what was also brutal is Dmov and Hoot being able to get so much farm. 30 minutes deep, I think Dmov are like 37k. Hoot on the silver going crazy, 38k as well. They had so much room to be able to just big farm up here, Jason, and become absolute monsters.
Yeah, you know what? We're having like a little discussion about who we think MVP is going to be in one of our chat channels, and man, I still look at these like okay, I'm going to argue with you on this, CP. Like, think of the mid boss steal in game 2.
I know,
and I didn't even notice it, but you talked about it.
Yeah,
the horses coming through at a Saint open up the opportunity to steal that mid boss.
Yeah, I think, look, you can give Saint MVP and it makes perfect sense. I also think the stat line for Dmov is so unbelievably disgusting in game 1 and game 3 that it's hard to look at that and not be like, okay, MVP the Dmov. Like, he put on 2 games, the 2 games Abrams won. Dmov didn't, well, okay, he died at the end of game 1 where he went to Fountain. I'm not counting that. He didn't die basically in games 1 and 3.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. This looked terrifying, and then obviously the Apollo looked terrifying as well.
Can we do the first ever dual MVP here on the night shift? Is that possible?
Most valuable players, plural?
MVPs. Can we do You know what, production? I guarantee they can do it. I'm not even going to ask. I know they can do it. Maybe we can do that, ZP, instead. We can appease both of our picks.
Multiple Ps.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay. To quickly talk about Sai really fast. I mean, when you kind of go like 0-3, 0-4 in the beginning, it's very hard to get back in the game.
Yeah.
Especially when you kind of need to be a little bit ahead of Calico. You need to be farming up constantly. Just kept getting caught by charges. I don't think we can hate on Sai too much. It was just a very rough game. It's just one of those games. I mean, 0-13, Arizumi is 1-11. It was just a tough match. I feel like Abraham's, they took off the weighted, clothes, the weights around their ankles, and they're like, okay, we're out of the hyperbolic time chamber. Let's just destroy you.
Yeah, I mean, Calico's combos and the return to shadows as well, if you've actually been able to get some decent farm in the early game, can be really annoying to deal with. But yeah, if you don't let that get going, ZP, you're both right. I think it's almost an impossible game to play for Sai. It basically is an impossible game to play for him when you're going up against like Abrams, shutting it down constantly.
Also, we just got word back, not the entire word from production, but just so you know, things get a little bit hectic here. From one of our producers says, quote, 2 MVPs is weak mental shit. Make a choice.
Whoa,
Damn.
whoa.
I'm just saying, word of God.
I'd vote Dmov. I think I enjoyed the Apollo. I enjoyed the Grey Talon. Like,
My heart wants to go for Saint, but my brain I can't ignore the Demov stat line. It's too gaudy on games 1 and 3. I have to say Demov. Then
I disagree.
There it
I still
is.
think it's Saint. I don't want to. I'm not appeasing our producer Low too. You know what? I'm not going to appease him. I still said there's 2 MVPs, so you're only going to see one on the screen, and we're only going to talk about one. But just know there's 2 in my eyes. Okay.
thanks, Jason.
you have 2 eyes. One MVP for each eye. It's multitasking.
Yeah. That is exactly what I do with my eyes. I don't know.
Unless he's blinking at slow pace. In which
I think
case
your
you can't
eyes are
see
looking at
anything.
different things. It's actually like a serious medical issue that needs to be addressed. But either way,
Maybe I just
He's a
blink-
chameleon.
You guys blink fast, and I blink normal speed.
Right. Okay.
But if
We
you
get to
blink,
see some
I
highlights?
enjoy the blink, right? Like I don't want to just blink for the sake of blinking. I'm like, I want to enjoy the
savor?
blink.
You savor your
savor it.
blinks?
Because I have this giant ring light blasting in my eyes this whole show, and it like kind of annoys my eyes a bit.
It's 2:30 a.m. in Europe, isn't it, Jason?
It is 2:30
It
a.m. in
is.
Europe.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from Demov, of course, coming in with that Apollo. It was great. I think that the Apollo really kind of set the tone for me. ZP, watching him hit some blinding Eternal Low Sands, as well as just being able to get so much value out of the kit and dancing around.
yeah, I mean, also Demov kind of provided a contrast as to where the ceiling of Apollo can go. Listic had ups and downs back in the challenging match, and we kind of brought up the ideas that look, Apollo is going to be one of those heroes that either looks really good or really bad, and it's a very fine line, and it's understandable people do limit testing. And Demov said, yeah, it may be a fine line, but watch me ride this line and just absolutely dominate. Then Demov gets put on 7 jail, and this is probably the most impressive moment he had in the game. But when you're capable of what Demov's capable of doing, it's like, why are we putting Demov on the hero that hits ult and walks forward in the fight? There's better options, surely.
Like a great talent, which of course we're able to see in that game 3. And we got to see some plenty of good stuff coming in, Jason.
Was that a vortex web? I mean, I guess the spirit snare didn't really connect, but that would have been crazy to vortex web into a spirit snare. I mean, he had good damage, and he had a good front line. The fact that Together was having a good game, that Saint was having a good game, Hood as well. Like no one could touch him unless he wanted them to touch him. I mean, you see here, who's even harassing him? No one. They're just ignoring this old man, just pelting arrows at them constantly. How do you not have a good game if they're going to treat you like that? You know?
Well, you got to leave the elderly alone, Jason. They've done their bit in life. I'm not saying it's over for Grey Talon, but
It might be. And now it's time for our second MVP. Let's roll it for Saint.
he's trying. It's not happening.
Production just left him out on an island. They could freeze his face there too. Like cut the camera. Just oh god. They just cut Jason.
He's gone.
I'm back.
Oh,
I thought they would get my back. Okay.
No, they
I remember
got
this
your back with a
production.
knife.
Do you want to look at the bracket for NA and then
I
talk
guess
about?
we should. I guess.
Yeah,
we should. I guess we still have another whole half of the show to do.
There is a lot more to come. Abraham's winning 2-1 here against Leviathan in the final. Leviathan pushed them, but it wasn't enough. Now we're going to be moving on to North America. Floorman, Bird with Clock, and of course, the winner will be going up against the old melee creeps down in that grand final. Should be a good one, ZP.
Yep, and also this is a public service announcement. If it wasn't obvious, Bird with Clock is in fact the team formerly known as Bunny with Clock. They wanted to get a little bit more Deadlock branding. They wanted to up their evil quotient by 900% by including Rem into their logo. That's where they wanted to go with it. But it is the old Bunny with Clock roster in full, no roster changes, a rarity for North America, just a change from a Bunny to a Rem.
I have a question though, ZP.
What's that?
Where's Hydronation? I remember you saying, I think you said on broadcast that they're waiting for all the heroes to be released and they're ready to go. Where are they at?
I don't know. I check in with them every so often, be like, hey, you guys ready to play? Nope. Like, I'll send a DM to Hydration after today and be like, do you want to play next week? And we'll see. I would like to see the return of Hydronation. I think Hydronation vs. Floormen is an incredible story, but Hydronation has to accept the invite for that to be a thing.
So you're saying they're scared.
There's many explanations, Jason. I'm not going with the scared part. They're just slowly building fundamentals. How about that?
Hyperbolic time chamber stuff, Jason, you like Dragon Ball. Anyway, that does it for the European portion. He doesn't, I don't know anymore. That does it for the European portion. Thank you very much for tuning in so far. Of course, North America is just on the other side. Jason, I know you're heading off. Where can we find you? I know you're streaming.
You can find me over at our second MVP of Saints.
It's not happening. It's
Not happening. No.
No,
No, not happening. I thought it would. I thought production had my back there.
Nope.
I really thought they were ready for that one.
No, I mean, we already established they're hitting your back with knives. But one thing that is pretty cool here on Night Shift is that we're always looking for ways to engage the community more, especially those, that are in our chat, those that create content. And we got a special interview piece coming up where Elizabeth Marchini, you may know her for her work on VCT. She got to sit down and have some time with John to interview him about his experiences in the scene. So as we get ready to the NA, you'll get a little bit of extra insight into one of NA's best players with John.
Is that the outro?
No, I was going to do that. I was trying not to.
The MVP of Saint, the real MVP of the match.
Stop it, you. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me for Europe. I appreciate it. If you could, thankfully, please check out my podcast that happens over at the Hyperline on YouTube. I do that with Blank as well as Jabin. That would be very appreciated. And I'm really always happy to come and be a guest here. So thanks, Jason. Thanks, CB, for having me. The Rem hater, apparently. Oh,
Yes. Proudly.
Go. All right, time for a break. When we return, we've got North America ZP staying on. Jason's gone. I'm gone. It's going to be a good old time in North America.